me?
Hi, Mohammed. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Chukwemeka. We're still expecting quite a number of people to join. Okay, we're expecting a number of people to join. So while we await the numbers to just ramp up within 1 or 2 minutes, for those of us who are on the call, welcome to today's session. It's very fantastic to have you guys on board, and we'll be having a very great session today because we'll be working on a real life case study, right? So I can see people joining. Okay, so my name is Mohammed Suleiman. I'm a senior data associate here at Analytics, and I'll still give more introduction of myself when we have a lot more people join. Okay, so but while we are awaiting others to join, all right. So I just want to share with the house. Okay, I'm sure you can still hear me, correct? Just give me a one in the chat if you can hear me, guys. All right. Okay, fantastic. Great. Now we'll just play a little game while others join. Then when others join, we'll start. All right. So I was trying to solve a particular riddle just before I joined the session, and I've not been able to find the answer to that riddle. Okay, so I want to share the riddle with you guys, and then you guys help me solve it. Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead? Are we together, guys? Just type a yes in the chat. Type a yes if you want me to go ahead. Okay, thanks for that, Pinter. Okay, Adelby is ready. Who else? I want to see your responses, guys. So I've been battling this riddle. People say it's very, very simple. I'm the only one who does not know it. So I want to share with the house. Okay, fantastic. So let's go ahead. So the riddle goes thus. What goes up and never comes down? What goes up and never comes down? People say it's very easy. So I was thinking about what are the answers that can fit. And you won't believe I've not been able. Okay, Adaobi says age. Binta says age. Okay, Abdullah says carbon monoxide. I don't know what that is. All right. Okay, let's keep our answers coming in. And I'll tell you what I think my own answer is. So again, what goes up and never comes down? Chukwemeka says dollar. I think that's very close to the answer. Okay. Environment says data. Data goes up and never comes down. Fantastic. So I think let's feel free to type in our own answers. Okay. So I'll just give us one more minute, and then we'll continue. 1 minute. So for those who are just joining, people are helping me solve a riddle that I've not been able to find an answer to. Just before I joined the session, I've been trying to get the answer. And the riddle is what goes up and never comes down? Time, food price in Nigeria. I think that should be, instead of Nigeria, it should be everywhere. Okay, fantastic. So let me type my own answer in, so you guys will see my answer. So I'll type my own answer in the chat. That's my answer, right? So my own answer, my special answer to that riddle is analytics. Okay, and you would experience that today. All right, so welcome, guys, once again. Fantastic responses. So, like I said, my name is Mohammed Suleiman, and I'm here with Chukwemeka. And Chukwemeka, alongside myself, will be sharing our experience with you, in today's session. All right. So I know you guys joined. Okay. Can anyone remember the name of this session? What are we here to do today? What are we here to do today? Let's see those of us who are qualified to get it. What are we here for today? What are we here for today? Power BI, fantastic. Okay. Who else? What are we here? Do we have a different opinion to Varon? What are we here for today? Building a dashboard, fantastic. And that's exactly what we're doing, building a Power BI report. Great. All right, fantastic. Yeah, I'll show you exactly how to do that within a short time now. Okay, so but I would love to know if you're joining us for the first time and where you're joining us from. So if you're joining us for the first time, put a 1, and then let me know where you're joining us from. Okay. Are you joining from the UK? Are you joining from the UAE? Are you joining from South Africa? Or somewhere in the US or Canada? I would love to know. One from UK, fantastic. So Adelby is new. Okay, Varun from India, fantastic. So Varun, I would love to know, have you attended any of our sessions before? Just put a one in the chat if you haven't. Okay, no, fantastic. Okay, great. All right. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and for the benefit of those of us who are joining our session for the first time, you may be wondering what we do here at Tenalytics. All right, so I'll go ahead and show you exactly what Tenalytics is, who we are, and what we do. All right, so do type a clear in the chat once you can see my screen. All right, once you see my screen, type a clear in the chat. You can put a crystal clear. You can type in crystal clear. All right, you're free. Can we all see my screen? Fantastic, crystal clear. Okay, great. All right, and just like you mentioned, this is exactly why we are here today. We're going to be building a Power BI report together. Okay, and we'll solve an actual problem. So it's not just about the dashboard, it's about solving an actual problem. So who are we at Tenalytics? All right. So here at Tenalytics, we are an edtech organization, and what we are passionate about is helping people of the Black community get into the tech space. All right. Now, across many of the organizations where I have worked with in the past, what I found out was that I'm either the only Black person in the room, or we are only a handful across the entire organization. And what we seek to do here at Tenalytics is to change that narrative. And how do we plan to do that? Is by simply lowering the entry barrier into them. So you see that it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult for people of the Black community to lay their hands on programs or materials like what we offer here at Tenalytics. So we are here to change that narrative. And our programs cut across data analytics, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics. We also offer programs in data engineering, um, and so on and so forth. All right. And we have some new programs coming on board for the year 2024. Okay, as well. So, and you get to work with professionals like myself, like Chukwemeka, and some other professionals in-house who will be sharing their experience with you, and that's how you learn. Okay, so you are going to be learning using a real life case scenario, sort of what we'll be doing in today's session. All right. And these professionals I've worked with, like myself, I've worked with Alfa Romeo. All right. You also have professionals in-house who have worked with organizations like Apple, Google, Coca-Cola, P&G, and the list goes on and on. And that's the quality of professionals you get to work with here at Tenalytics. All right. So you may have not met these fantastic guys. All right. Our founder, Adeza Suleiman, he's a data analytics expert with close to a decade of experience in the industry. And he has impacted the lives of close to 9,000 participants, helping them get into the tech space. All right. And he's worked as a data analytics consultant, a data science consultant, and he's worked across four different sectors. All right. And that's the level of quality that you'll be getting here at Tenalytics. All right. We also have Ifemena Ipro. All right. And this slide will be shared with you if you're wondering. Right. This slide will be shared with you as long as you stay to the end of the session. Okay. So you'd get to click on these links to connect with them. All right. Connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on Twitter and Instagram. All right. So Ifemena Ipro is the co-founder of Tenalytics. And these are great guys, also with close to a decade of experience in the industry. Ifemena is a smart, fantastic guy who has worked as a data analyst, a data engineer, a data scientist. He has worked, he has worn all the hats you can find in the data space. All right. And that's the level of experience that we offer here at Tenalytics. And today, all right, we have you would have myself and Chukwuemeka on board sharing our experience with you. All right. So I'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. Okay. So Chukwuemeka is the COO of Tenalytics, the Chief Operating Officer, right? And he's worked cutting across several sectors as well. He's worked with the fintech, he's worked, in the construction sector, and so on and so forth. All right, quite a fantastic professional. Chukwuemeka is, all right, and he'll be sharing his experience with you also, today, and myself as well. Mohammed Suleiman. I lead the data analytics team here at Analytics and have over half a decade of experience in the industry. I've also had the opportunity to mentor and train close on 2,000 participants and also helped them get jobs in the tech space. All right. And I've also worked as a data scientist as well. So that is the level of experience that we have. And we are super happy today to be sharing our expertise with you. Are we excited to have us? Are we excited? Just type a yes in the chat. I want to know the level of your excitement. Or just type a number between 1 to 100. I want to know the level of excitement you have. Okay, Quadri has 100. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 100, what's your level of excitement? Absolutely fantastic. Okay. Okay, so Abdullah's response reminded me of one very scary topic, mathematics back then. What's the name of that topic? Binary numbers. Exactly, binary numbers. So let's go ahead. Okay, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So now, today, I know you've met Analytics, you've met our founders, you've also met the facilitators for today's session. All right. So I'll go ahead and show you what we have for today. So what we are going to be doing today would cut across 4 facets. All right. So the first aspect is we'd go on to actually build that report that we said we'll build. All right. So for those who are just joining, in today's session, we are going to be building an actual Power BI report using a real life case study. All right. It's a problem I solved during my time consulting for, one of the firms, one of the FMCGs based in the US. And they had a very peculiar problem. They wanted to solve it. So I solved that particular problem, and that's what I'll be sharing with you. All right. So that's what we'll be doing first. And then we'll go on to educate you on how you can get started as a data analyst. So for those of us who would love to be data analysts, become data analysts like myself, like Adeza, like Chukwuemeka or Efemena, we'll be telling you exactly what you need to do, to become or to achieve that goal, right? So just stick around and you'll get all this information, okay? So you'd see my colleagues also posting the attendance link in the chat, the attendance form. So please, if you've not filled the form, do well to fill it. All right, please do well to fill the form. Once you fill the form, you're going to gain access to the materials we are going to be using for today's session and the recording of this session as well. So please ensure you fill in the attendance. All right, so moving ahead, we'll take a look at how you can get into our upcoming program for 3rd of February. Okay, what do you need to do? And also a special discount comes along with that. So, and we'll also share some success stories, and like I mentioned, the special discounts. So Chukwuemeka would, inform us on what that entails. All right, so that's what we are going to be doing in today's session. Okay, so how do I fill the attendance? So the link is in the chat. You see, Lydia from Tenalytics posted it in the chat. So go ahead and click on it, and it's intuitive from there. So just fill in the chart, fill in the form, and then we get all the materials across to you after today's session. All right. So we're about to get into it. Okay, we are about to get into it. Are you ready? So crack your fingers if you're ready. Crack your fingers and also your head, because we are going to be thinking together. We'll be thinking together. So you would work with me, all right? We'd work together and would solve the problem. So the organization has a very pressing problem, and we are going to solve that. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, fantastic. All right, I don't see more responses. I don't see more responses, guys. Or we just came to enjoy the session. And if you just came to enjoy the session, that's fine. Okay, that's very fine. So you can watch me do it, and then when you get the materials, you get the data set, you get to practice on your own. So all you need to do is ensure you fill in the form, the attendance form. Please fill in the form so that you get all the materials you need after today's session, right? So let's go ahead. I would introduce the case study that we will be working together on today, all right? And what the problem is. Then I'll go on to show you how the data set looks like in Excel, all right? How the data set looks like in Excel. Then open Power BI, which is why we are here, and we're going to solve the problem together, all right? So this organization, okay? This organization, all right. So this organization is a fast rising FMCG, and what they noticed is that revenue has started to decline. Okay, revenue has started to decline, and when I say revenue is the money made after sales. So after an organization makes sales, how much do they have at hand? So that's what revenue is. Now revenue has started to decrease over time. All right. And where fingers were pointing to within the organization was from the supply chain, So supply chain are in charge of movement and logistics of products in and out of the organization, or I would say in and out of the warehouse. Okay. So now when goods are delivered to customers, some customers may likely return these products and fill in a complaint. So, it's either the seal is torn, or the package is dented, and so on and so forth. So there are several reasons upon which customers will return these goods, and that would count as a loss to the organization. So ordinarily, what would have come in as revenue, all right, now counts as a loss because the goods have been returned. All right. And this is where you come in as a data analyst. Okay. This is where you come in as a data analyst. So as a data analyst, you'll be the one solving this puzzle. Okay. And what you're looking out for is very simple. Are there any patterns? Are there any consistencies in the return data that we have been provided? Okay. So are there any consistencies? Are there any patterns? And based on these consistencies and patterns, are you able to make recommendations? Are you able to advise the organization on what to do? Okay, on what to do. So, all right, I can't see your screen. Please, guys, confirm. Can we still see my screen? Can we see my screen? Just type a yes in the chat. Okay. All right, fantastic. So great. All right. Now, for the one who cannot see my screen, that's Binta. All you need to do is log out and log back in, and then you should be able to see my screen. Okay. It's important that you see my screen. Okay, even if you're not practicing along, it's important that you see my screen. So what we are going to be doing today, right? What we are going to be doing today is we're going to answer some key questions. So, but I'll still let me give you an overview of how this organization works. Now, the organization operates a supply chain that is in charge of movement of goods in and out of the organization. All right. Now, these goods move in. All right. So let's stay muted, please. So these goods move in vehicles, and these vehicles are operated by several different other partners of the main organization. All right. So these organizations provide these vehicles, and in some cases, and they have a pool of drivers that operates these vehicles from point A to B. So what we are looking to discern from this analysis is, can we tie our problem as an organization to any of these things? Can we tie it to a driver? Can we tie it to one of our partners or any of them? Or can we tie it to a specific product in our product line? Is there anything we can tie it to? So that's what we are going to be doing today. Do you all understand? Before I show you how the data set looks like, do we all understand? Do we all understand the problem that we're trying to solve today? So I'll still show you the data set. And, okay, fantastic. Do we understand? I don't see the yeses in the chat. Okay, understand. Okay, yes, fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, Quadri, Dave, Daniel, Binta, Sarah, fantastic. And you guys, please get ready, all right? I'll be asking you questions. So it's not just me showing you how Power BI works. So we're going to be solving an actual problem, all right? So the link to the data set has also been included in the slides, which you'll be getting, all right? But for those of us who would want to work alongside with me, so if you already have Power BI installed on your machine, you can go ahead and download the data sets. So I've put the link in the chat. So if you want to work with Power BI, if you have Power BI already downloaded, right, in your drive. So for those of us who would love to download Power BI, it's very easy. Open your browser, right? Open your browser and search Power BI download. Power BI download. It's very easy, right? Power BI download. I'm just showing this to you so that later when you get the recording, you are able to download it. You don't have to download it now, right? You do not have to download it now. So Power BI download, search for Power BI download, and you see downloads Microsoft Power BI. So I'll click on the first link. All right, click on the first link. So click on the first link, wait for it to load. Right, so you get to this page, okay? And what you want to click on is, you'd see Microsoft Power BI Desktop, okay? Microsoft Power BI Desktop. Again, I'm just walking you through these steps so that when you get the recording, find it in here, and then you can go ahead and download yours. It's important to fill in the form, guys, so that you get the recording. So once you come here, you scroll down, you see advanced download options, advanced download options. So you click on that, all right? Click on that. And then what you want to click on is download. So you can select your preferred language and then you click on download. Okay, once you click on download, you have these options pop up. If you're using a 64-bit system, this is what you want to download. And if you don't know your system specification, all you need to download is the first option. So just tick the box for the first option and then hit download. All right, and that downloads that downloads it for you. All right, so what we are working with today is Power BI Desktop, not the mobile version, right? Power BI Desktop. Okay, so but you can create mobile dashboards on in your Power BI Desktop. But what we are working with today is Power BI Desktop. So this is what you want to download. Simply click on download, and that downloads Power BI for you. Then all you need to do is to go to your downloads in your file manager, and then you can install from there. All right. So having said that, I would open up the data sets that we'll be working with today. So can we all see my screen? So this is Excel. So I want us to understand the data, and then, um, you know, let's understand the data. So we've understood the problem, but let's understand the data, and then we'll go on to Power BI. We'll open up Power BI, and we'll work together. Okay. Now, when you look at the data set here, you'd see that we have driver ID. Okay, so these are the unique identifiers of or let me ask you. So let me ask you, driver ID, what do you think it is? Do you think you understand what driver ID is? Do you understand what driver ID is? So let's do it that way. Driver ID. We can't see the data. So can we see it now? Can we see it now? Can we see the driver ID? Is it bolder now? Okay, fantastic. All right. So the first column says driver ID. So I was asking, do we understand driver ID? Fantastic. So driver ID is the unique identifier of the drivers. So even if you have drivers with similar names, right, the IDs would distinct them, would tell them apart. All right. So and then you have company ID. Now I'll go ahead and explain the company ID. Now the company ID, remember I said that this organization partners with some logistics um, you know, ventures that provide the vehicles, okay, so that they don't bear all the risk. So that's one way organizations work. So that they don't bear all the risk. They don't go ahead and own everything within the organization. So these logistics partners provide the vehicles that move products from point A to B. And these are their IDs. So they are also logistics companies. All right. So these are their IDs and then their corresponding name. Okay. So that's the company ID, and this is their corresponding name. Okay. And then we have the return dates. All right. We have the return dates. You can see we have the return dates, although we'll take care of this when we get to Power BI. All right. So, and then we have the return complaints. Remember, I mentioned that when a customer, returns these products, they tell us why they have returned it. Some went missing, or they are dented, or an accident occurred, or the seal is torn, or it's even a wrong item. And that's why they returned, these products. All right. So these are the different reasons, why why they return these goods. So Room is saying most have their goods dented and missing. So we'll see about that. Right, we'll see about that. This is not the entire data set. It's about 500 rows of data. All right. So and then we have product ID. So in their product lines, the product line of this organization, we have some products, and these are their IDs. You have their actual names, right? And then you have the quantity returned. Okay, we have the quantity returned. We have the quantity returned. All right. We also have the unit price. Have the unit price, and then we have amount. So the unit price is the price of one, the price of one of those products that were returned. And then you have the amount, and this is the amount in dollars, okay, that has been returned. So we can use this to now measure in monetary value how much have we lost in revenue. All right. And then all this has also been grouped in risk category, okay, whether high risk or low risk. Okay. Some of these goods, when they are returned, it's usually you know it's usually more impactful on the revenue than others. So based on that, each record has been grouped into two categories, whether high risk or low risk. All right. And that's where the data ends. Okay. Now, the next thing we have to do is we'll open up Power BI. Okay, we'll open up Power BI and we'll bring in these data sets and start to work. And that's where our learning cut across today. Okay, so again, if you want to work with me, that's fine. Okay, I'll share the data set one more time. So that's the link to the data set in the chat. So you can go ahead and get a copy of it if you want to work with me. Or if you want to relax and enjoy the session, and it's going to be interactive because it's not just me solving the problem. We would collaborate, and would collaborate together. Okay, so that's the link in the chat. Okay, that's the link in the chat, the link to the data set. All right. So I'll go ahead and open up Power BI. So I'll open up Power BI, right? Power BI desktop. So I'll open up Power BI. Okay. Open up Power BI. So go ahead and open up Power BI, all right? Open up Power BI. Like I mentioned, all right? If you want to just sit back and just participate and help us solve the problem, that would be fantastic. Okay, that would be absolutely fantastic. And then we'll get to learn what the job of a data analyst is. So here, what I'm sharing with you today is an actual job that I did. So although I've codified the data. So the names and the name of organizations that you see in there are not the actual names, right? So I codified it so that valuable data is protected. All right. So go ahead and open Power BI if you're working with me. All right. Go ahead and open yours if you are working with me. Open yours if you're working with me, and then we can work together. Okay. So I'll share it again. So that's the link to the data set. All right. So I've shared it again, Audrey. That's it. So 1 second. I'll just give us 1 minute to open up ours. Just give us 1 minute. All right. I'll give us 1 minute. Okay. Right. So you'd so just give me a yes once you're ready. Give me a yes once you're ready. Okay, give me a yes once you're ready, and then can fire on. All right, we can go on. Okay, so I'll share my screen back. So let me share my screen. So once you can see my screen again, let me know. Okay, once you can see my screen, let me know. All right, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So we're about to start. Okay, we are about to start. All right, we are about to start. Okay, we are about to start. All right, we're about to start. Now, just for the sake of those again, now the reason I'm doing this, all right, so is if you get once you get the recording, you'll be able to go about it yourself. So I'll just take 1 second. I'll take 1 second to show you how to download the data set. It's very easy, all right? It's super easy. Okay, so once you open the link that I shared, okay, it brings you to this page, all right? It brings you to this page, and all you need to do, all right, all you need to do from here is on the top left corner, you click on File. You click on File, right? Click on File. Okay, on the top left corner here on my screen, as you can see, you click on File, and you'd see download. You'd see download. All you need to do is hover your mouse on download and click on Microsoft Excel. Click on Microsoft Excel, and that downloads a copy for you in your system, and you can work with that. So I just thought to show you so that you can see that. So once you open Power BI, okay, once you open Power BI, you'd see this landing page, all right? You see this landing page, all you need to do is to close this, all right? Just go ahead and close this, okay? Close this, and this is the Power BI environment itself, all right? This is the Power BI environment itself. You can see a bunch of visualizations, a bunch of charts that you can use here, all right? And then, okay, and then you'd see once you bring in your data, you'd find your data in here, all right? So, and you can expand and collapse using these arrows, okay? I can collapse this, I can collapse this. But when you get into the Power BI environment, where I want you to direct your gaze to, all right, is here. Can we all see where my mouse is? Can we see what we have there? Can we see what we have? Where I have my mouse. Can you see what I have there? Get data, right? Get data, get data. Now, when you hear get data, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind when you hear get data? Get data. What do you think that's used for? What do you think that's used for? Even if you've not used Power BI before, you see get data. What do you think that's used for? Fantastic. To import data, so to bring in data into the Power BI environment. And that's exactly what we are going to do. All right, so you've downloaded the data set system, all right, on your laptop. It's in your local drive. What we need to do is to bring it in. So I'll click on get data, right? I'll click on get data, okay? And you'd see some of the common sources, right, that we can connect our data to. And our data is in form of an Excel file. Our data is in form of an Excel file. So what we want to click on is Excel workbook. Excel workbook. We want to click on Excel workbook. So I'll go ahead and click on that. Okay, simple. I'll click on Excel workbook. Again, I clicked on get data, right? And I clicked on Excel workbook. Now, after clicking on Excel workbook, all right? After clicking on Excel workbook, Power BI opens up my local drive. Okay, and it's asking me, oh, take me to where the data is so I can connect to it. Take me to where the data is and I can connect to it. For those of us who just downloaded it, you'd find it in your downloads, right? You find it in your downloads. Find it in your downloads. So click on downloads. So I'll go ahead and click on downloads, and this is it. All right, supply chain returns. So this is supply chain returns. So I'll go ahead and click on supply chain returns and click on open. All right, I'll click on supply chain returns, okay, and click on open. I'll click on supply chain return and click on open. Now, once I click on open, something happens. So you'd wait for Power BI to do its thing, all right? So let's wait for Power BI. You can see Power BI is establishing its connection to the data, all right? Power BI is establishing its connection to the data. Okay, so let's give it a second. So once you click on open, you'll see that what Power BI does is it's bringing in the data to the environment, to the Power BI environment. All right, so I'll send the link to the data one more time. Okay. So, but you still get I've kept the link in my slides, and you get it at the end of the session. So what you really need to do now at this point is fill in the attendance form. Okay, fill in the attendance form. That's all you need to do. Fill in the attendance form, and then just concentrate on what I'm doing. Trust me, you'll be able to replicate this once you get the record. All you need is will be in here. All right. So please go ahead and do so. And you would also join me in solving the problem, because it's not just about building the dashboard. We're going to be thinking about about the problem. So once you get here, this is your navigator page. All you need to do is to check the box where to the left-hand side of sheet 1. Okay, so you can see it says no items selected for preview, and that's because you've not selected any um, any data. So I'll go ahead and check the box, and that gives us a preview of the data. You saw when I showed you the data in Excel, where we saw the driver ID, the driver name, company ID, and so on and so forth. Can we all remember? Can we remember that? Fantastic. So this is the data set, just a preview of the data set. All right. And Femi Gold, no worries. Again, issues like this are the reasons why you need to fill in the form, all right, so that we can get this across to you. So you miss the part, don't worry. All you need to do is just fill in the form and you'll get it, all right? Now, once you check this box, you'll be able to see the preview of the data, okay? You'll be able to see the preview of the data. But this is not where we are going to work the data, all right? This is not where we are going to work the data. There's one valuable information I want to share with you now. Now, in Power BI, all right, in Power BI, we have what we call the Power BI workflow, all right, the Power BI flow, okay, the Power BI flow. Now, in the Power BI workflow, there is something we also call the ETL. ETL, all right, ETL. I've put that in the chat. E for egg, T for table, L for lion, ETL. And the ETL simply means extract, transform, and load. Extract, transform, and load. What we've done so far is extract. Oh, we have gurus in the house. We have gurus in the house. Extract, transform. Now, and somebody's asking, is there a video available to watch how to download Power BI? Yes, it's also in the slide. So everything you need will be in the slide, all right? And you'll be able to replicate it. All you need to do is to fill in, okay? Now, extract, transform, and load. What we've done so far, okay? What we've done so far is we've extracted the data. The next thing we need to do is to do what? Can we all see where my mouse is here? Can we see where my mouse is? Can we see what's there? Can we see what we have there? Can we see that? We have transform data, okay? So yes, you have the option of loading. You have the option of loading, but the best practice is for you to transform data. And it's sort of like you're bringing, raw food items. You want to make a food, for example. The first place you take the food items to is the kitchen. Okay, so we are about to head into the kitchen of Power BI, right? And that's why we are going to click on transform data. So I'll go ahead and click on transform data. Once I click on it, let's Power BI, open all the doors and head over to the kitchen. And what do we do in the kitchen? What's the point of coming? What's the point of coming here? The answer is very simple. We want to ensure that every item that we need to put in the pot to ensure that our meal is delicious is measured proportionally. All right, everything is okay, the structure of our data is okay, and we can go ahead to cook. All right, so this is the kitchen. Now, what do we do here? What we call the kitchen in Power BI, right, is Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor. All right. And like I said, somebody's asking, what will happen if you load the data without transforming? I would ask you the question, what will happen if you take raw food items to the dining table without passing through the kitchen? And you don't just pass through the kitchen, you perform some actions in the kitchen, all right? So something like that could happen. You could run into issues, right? So you don't want people eating raw food. So you want to take it to the kitchen, prepare it, and it's in the right format. Now, this is your Power Query Editor, and here what you basically do is you ensure that your data is locked. All right. If data is in text, you'd ensure that the text data type is assigned. All right. If data, is supposed to be in dates and it's in something else, is showing us something else. This is where you correct that. And it is super easy. Hi guys. Can we hear me? Can we hear me now? Hi guys, can we hear me now? So Chukwemeka, confirm you can hear me.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, sorry about that. Okay, just a little glitch there. Okay, so can we see my screen as well? Can we see my screen? Confirm you can see my screen. So confirm you can see my screen. Just give me a yes. Just type a yes in the chat if you can see my screen. Type a yes in the chat if you can see my screen. Type a yes in the chat if you can see my screen. Okay, fantastic, great. All right. So what I was saying, all right, was you bring in the data into your Power Query editor. And your Power Query editor is like the kitchen. All right. That's the kitchen where you ensure everything is proportionate. Now let's look at the data ourselves. Let's look at the data ourselves. So what we have here, you can see the columns. All right. What we have here is what we call the data quality. All right, the data quality. So if yours is not showing, you can say I have valid 100% and so on and so forth. All right. If you want yours to show, very simple. All you need to do is to come to view. All right, come to view, click on view. Okay, click on view, and you'd see the box for column quality. Column quality. And all you need to do is to check the box. All right. If I uncheck mine, you see it disappears. I check mine, you see it reappears. All right. So just to mention that, and then you can click back on who once you've done that. Now, look at the driver ID column. Fantastic, it's fine. All right. The driver name column, and you can see the data type here. Okay, the data type. So if I click on ABC, for example, you'll see all the data types. So if it's not in the correct data type, I can reassign another data type to them. All right. But what Power BI does is it looks at the content of each column and tries to assign a data type to it. Okay. Many a times it's correct, right? But in some cases it can be wrong. And let's take a look at this column, for example. Look at the return dates. Look at the dates column, the return date column. What do you notice? Do you know what date this is? Can you tell me what date this is? You'll likely not be able to. All right, can we hear me now? Sorry about that. You can't see my screen. Okay, so that's my screen. All right. Now, okay, fantastic. All right. Now, what I was saying is take a look at the return Okay, can we see my screen now? Roommate, can you now see my screen? Just type a yes in the chat. Okay, great. Now, what I was talking about is take a look at the return date column. Okay, the return date column. Now, you'd see that this is not in date format. This is not in date format. So let's go ahead and change it. It's in number format. All right, you can see 1, 2, 3 is what I have here. So I'll click on the 1, 2, 3, click on the 1, 2, 3, and you want to click on dates. You want to click on dates. You want to click on dates. Click on the 1, 2, 3 that you have here in the column header where you have return date. You say 1, 2, 3, indicating that it's in the number format. So we need to format that to a date. So click on that and select date. Now, once you click on date, Power BI asks you, oh, would you like to replace the existing conversion, and so on and so forth. So you can click on replace current. So what Power BI does is it records all the things you do in the kitchen, all right? And it calls it applied steps. So it's asking you, oh, Power BI is saying, I'd already changed the type, I detected the data types, all right? So do you want me to replace that step? And I'll click on replace current. And once I do that, you'd see that everything changes to dates. So a date that myself and yourself can understand. All right? Are we together, guys? Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Fantastic. So when you take a look at the orders, they're pretty much correctly assigned. Right? These are decimal numbers. These are also decimal numbers. And so on and so forth. Now, if we are not together, okay, that's for Adam. Maybe you came late, or you missed something along the line. The session is recorded, all right, and that'll be provided to you. Just ensure you fill in the form. But more interestingly, rather than try to follow me, let's work together, okay? When we start to analyze now, you see what I'm talking about. So my data is okay now, all right? All the columns are in the correct data types. All I need to do is to click on this icon here, okay? Can we all see this icon? It says close and apply. Now, when I click on close and apply, that is the load step in the ETL, all right? That is the load step in the ETL. That is the load step in the ETL. Remember I mentioned ETL, right? Can we all remember? Can we all remember what I called ETL? Remember I said ETL, right? So what we need to do is fantastic. By the time we close and apply, we click on close and apply, all right? It takes us back to Power BI environment, okay? So what we are loading is the data set, all right? We brought it into the kitchen. Now we take it back to Power BI, all right? Remember we had not loaded it. So we have not brought it into the Power BI environment itself. So we took it into Power Query Editor, which is the kitchen of Power BI. So and we've, restructured our data. We've changed this column to what it should be, which is a dates column, all right? And we'll click on close and apply. And once I click on close and apply, it gives me these options, and I click on close and apply, close and apply, close and apply. Now, once you click on close and apply, right, would wait for Power BI. Don't click on anything, just wait for Power BI to do its stuff. And we would continue, right? So we'd wait for Power BI. You can see it's loading, right? Power BI is loading the data set. Power BI is loading the data set. 509 rows loaded, right? Now, you now find out that on the right-hand side of my screen, I now have sheet 1. I now have the sheet 1, okay? And from here, I can work with the data, all right? Now, I'll click on the drop down. Can you see this arrow here? I'll click on this drop down to expand it, all right? I clicked on the drop down beside, on the left-hand side of sheet 1 to expand it. And you can see all the columns in my data, all right? All the columns in my data, the amounts, company ID, company name, driver ID, driver name, product ID, product name, and so on and so forth. All right, and so on and so forth. Are we together, guys? Are we following? Are you following me? Are we together? Right, fantastic. Now, we're going to be creating a report. Okay, what we want to create is a report. All right, and we want to give our report a title. That's the first thing we'll do. Let's give our report a title. Okay, let's give our report a title. Now, if you look at, I've clicked on home, so click on home. If you have not clicked on home, click on home. By default, it's on home. All right, but when you click on home, you'd see a text box somewhere here, right? Under in your insert pane, you'd see a text box. Text box. So click on text box. Now, when you click on text box, it pops up this box where once you click inside, you can type. You can type in your title, and that's what we'll do next. So let's type in. I'll type in my title. So once I clicked here, once I clicked on text box, it expanded the filter pane. So I'll collapse it. I'll collapse the filter pane so that I can give more space to my dashboard. Right. So I'll collapse it by clicking here. All right. I'll collapse it, and that gives more space to my dashboard. Right. So please let's ensure we are all muted, guys. Now, click inside the text box and let's type supply chain reports. Supply chain report, or give it any title. You could say, oh, my first Power BI report, supply chain, however I want to put it. Supply chain report with analytics. Supply chain report with analytics. All right. And then once you've typed in your title, okay, all you need to do is to hit Control A to highlight everything that you have put in there, right? Or highlight the title, highlight the text in text box, highlight, all right? You can use Control A on your keyboard, all right? Or highlight like this. After highlighting, we can then increase the font size. Let's increase the font size. I would increase this to 28, all right? I would also make it bold. I'll click on bold so that it's bold, all right? Are we together? So click on bold, and that makes it bold, okay? And then you can resize this text box. So you can see all this, when I put my mouse on these areas of the text box, okay? You can increase. So increase as much as you want. You can increase it to, 30, size 30. Just ensure you've highlighted the text inside the text box, and then increase it to, whatever size. So 28 is ideal for my own dashboard. So you can work with me on that if you're working on Power BI as well. So once you've done that, all you need to do is to just click outside. So this empty space, you can click it, all right? And you see that's it there, all right? Click this empty space, all right? And you can see supply chain report with analytics, all right? So that's the first thing we've done. Now, the next thing we are going to do, all right? The next thing we are going to do is we want to look at some KPIs. KPIs. When I say KPIs, I mean key performance indicators. All right, key performance indicators. All right, when I say KPIs, I mean key performance indicators. Key performance indicators. Right? Key performance indicators. KPI. KPI. All right. Now, what are KPIs? KPIs are certain values you want to monitor, right? You want to track. So, and for us here, we'll be looking at some of them together. So let's see how many returns we had in total, all right? How many returns did we have in total? And to do that, I would, use the card visual. So in your visualizations pane, all right, you would see a card visual, the one that has 1, 2, 3 on it, where my mouse is. That's what you want to click on, all right? So I'll click on the card visual, okay? Click on the card visual, and you'd see this pop up on your screen. And what you want to do is, you can resize resize, and reposition, right? So to reposition it, just put your mouse on it, hold and drag, hold and drag. And to resize, it's just like the text box as well. So resize it this way, fantastic. So I resize it to this, all right? And what I want to do is I want a number to come up here telling me how many returns happened. So how many returns happened? How many returns happened? So how many times did returns occur? So and each row of my data, all right, each row of my data, you know, each row of my data, tells me when a return happened. So it means that if I can count the dates, if I count the dates in my data, that would tell me how many times a return occurred in the data, correct? So somebody's asking, how do we know which visual to use? Yeah, so the question you want to answer would determine that. So what I mentioned initially was that we want to look at some KPIs, we want to track some numbers. In your vehicle, when you're driving, you have dashboards. You have what we call a dashboard, right? You have what you call a dashboard, correct? So that dashboard, what it shows you are the important information that you need to track as you're driving, like your speed, um, your your engine speed, your fuel gauge, and so on and so forth. All right. So that's exactly what we are trying to do here. Now, what we want to do is still clicking on this card visual. I'll come to where I have return dates. So remember, I've already expanded the sheet one. So if you don't have all these columns under sheet one, all you need to do is to expand sheet one. All right, expand by clicking on the drop down. All right, and you'd see the columns. So I'll check the box for return dates. 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 Now, when you check the box for return dates, all right, so I want you to look at my screen. Okay, I want you to look at my screen. What you have there is the earliest return date. That's the first date. All right. And if you look at your visualizations pane, where you have fields, you have earliest return date. So this is where we can tell Power BI, oh, we don't want to see the earliest return date. I want you to count the dates that I have there because I want to know how many returns happened. All right. To do that, you'd see, can we all see the drop down beside earliest return? We have a drop down beside earliest return date in our visualizations pane. We have earliest return date. So I'll click on the drop down, all right, and I'll select count. I'll select count. I'll select count, count, count. All right, we'll still get to use count distinct. Don't worry. That would answer your question on what the differences are. So when we get there, I'll let you know. So, but what I want to click on is count. And once I click on count, you see that it shows me 509 returns, right? 509 returns happened. 509 returns happened. All right? Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Okay, fantastic. So now we want to have something very similar to this, all right? But we want it to show us how many drivers are involved in this return data. How many drivers are involved, all right? So I'll still clicking on this particular visual, all right? I would duplicate it, all right? I'll duplicate it, okay? I'll duplicate it. So I've clicked on this, all right? Clicked on this. I'll do a Control CV. Control CV is just your control, copy and paste. Copy and paste. I'll click on this visual, this card that I've built here, this one. I'll click on it, Control CV on my keyboard and drag. Control CV and drag. I'll do that again. All right. So click on this, Control CV, and then you can now drag that to the side. All right. drag it to side. Okay, drag it to the side. Now, once you've done that, all you need to do is you'd see that it's still showing 509, which is the count of returns, correct? That's the number of returns, right? So, but what we want to see, yeah, Control C V. Hold your control down, CV, after you've clicked on, the first visual. All right, Control CV. All right, Control CV. Okay, Control CV. All right. Now, still clicking on this second one. Clicking on the second one now. I would come to my So I would come to my sheet here, uncheck the return date. Remember, I've clicked on this one. All right, so I'll uncheck the return dates and check the box for driver ID. You can use driver name, but because driver ID tells us uniquely the drivers, all right, I would use my driver ID, and that will allow me to determine the number of drivers that I have. So I'll check the box for driver ID, and just like the date, show me the first driver ID. That's not what I want. So I come here again, all right? Yes, the driver ID is more unique. So you can possibly have, I've seen many people bear Mohammed Suleiman, right? So many people. Some of them have worked with them, right? Pakistanis, Iranians, I've worked with them, and they bear the exact name. So how do you tell us apart? You won't say, oh, Black Mohammed or White Mohammed. So you'd use IDs, right? We have unique identifiers that tells us apart. So use the IDs, all right? So I come here to my first driver ID and click on the drop down again. And this time you want to click on count distinct. Count distinct. So it's Power BI will just count the different IDs, all right? IDs. Count distinct. You are telling Power BI, oh, just count the different driver ID. So it will not count any ID twice. So I'll click on that and it gives me 11. Are we together? It gives me 11. Okay, it gives me 11. All right, that gives me 11. Okay, it gives me 11. It gives me 11. So after I've done that, all right, I'll copy and paste this again. Control CV again. Hold Control CV. All right, and bring this to the side. And this time I want to see the total quantity. The total quantity of goods returned. The total quantity of goods returned. All right. Total quantity of goods returned. So this 11 means that, 11 drivers were involved in the return. So we have only 11 drivers within the organization operating these vehicles. All right. So now what we want to see here, I've copied and pasted again, and we want to see this time the total quantity. All I need to do is to uncheck driver ID from my data pane here, right? And you'd see the quantity column, right? The quantity column. You see the quantity column down here. All you need to do is to check the box. Check the box for quantity, and you'd see it says 13K, 13,000. All right, 13,000. Okay, 13,000. All right, 13,000. 13,000. Are we together? 13,000. All right, 13,000. 13,000 goods were returned. Okay, 13,000 goods were returned. Are we together, guys? 13,000 goods were returned. So we're already telling the story that 509 returns were made from 11 drivers, and 13,000 goods, were returned. Right? So all I did was to make a copy, and then I unchecked driver ID and checked the box for quantity. So quantity appeared, and I would copy and paste again. Copy, paste. That's Control CV to make another copy. I drag to the side, and this time I want to see the total amount. Total amount. So what do? what do I do now that I've copied and pasted? Can somebody just walk me through? Just type it in the chat. What do I do to get my total amount? Very simple. I want to check my quantity and check the box for total amount, right? And you see that shows me, if I expand it, that shows me 178.85K. So this is the monetary value, okay? The monetary value of all the goods that were returned. The monetary value of all the goods that were returned. Now, once I'm done with this, we'll still come back and format this a bit, all right? So once I'm done with this, all right, click somewhere outside, just click the empty space under. Click the empty space under. All right, click the empty space under. And we want to use a fantastic visual. All right, we'll use a fantastic visual from our charts here. So can we all see this where I have my mouse? It says decomposition tree. Decomposition tree. It says decomposition tree. It says decomposition tree. So I want to show you how to use that. All right, so I'll go ahead and click on that visual. Can we all see where my mouse is? Just type a yes in the chat. So I'll click on that now. Fantastic. So I'll click on that. And that gives me the decomposition tree. The decomposition tree. So I'll make this big. All right, but I'll still leave a space on the side. I'll make this big. Okay. So again, to readjust, all you need to do is to put your cursor on the, at the corner, and then you can readjust. Okay. Hold and drag. So let's have it this way. So what is the decomposition tree? Like what you can see here is we can take an entity in our data set and cut it into pieces. And that would reveal some patterns and some secrets for us. And based on that, we can start to make our recommendations. All right. So now, still, I've clicked on the decomposition tree that I just put in here. Now, what do I want to decompose? So you see this amount that we have here. We have 13K here, right? Can we all see this? We have 13K here, right? We have 13K, correct? Now, this 13K, all right, let's see if we can break it down. So this 13K now, this 13K, the number of goods that were returned. How many of our logistics, how many were returned by so-and-so logistics partner? How many were returned by so-and-so drivers, and so on and so forth? What products were returned? That's what we can answer. So now, can we all see, still click on the visual itself. Click on the visual, and I want you to come to your data pane. You can see amounts, okay? You can see amounts. So what I'll do is I'll hold and drag amounts and drop it in here where I have analyze. So we want to analyze amounts, all right? So I'll hold and drag amount and drop it in here. Watch me. I'll click hold and drag and drop it in here. All right. Hold it, drag it, and drop it in here. And in your visualization, you can see some amount, right? You can see some amount. Okay. You can see some amount. Are we together? You can see some amount. Can we see that? Can we see my screen? Can we all see my screen? So now we want to decompose this to, again, what I talked about. Now you can see we have, okay, this is amount. Oh, amount, guys, you didn't correct me. I made a mistake. Okay, I put in amount when I said we want to decompose quantity. It was quantity we wanted to decompose, not amount. So what do I do? How do I correct it? How do I correct it? How do I correct the mistake? So I've made a mistake now. How do I correct it? I simply uncheck amounts, right? I uncheck amount and check the box for quantity. And that gives me 13,170, which is exactly what I want. Fantastic, you guys are following. So the next thing I want to do now is, you see I have a box explain by here in my visualizations pane, explain by. So I want to explain this quantity, this total quantity, this 13,178 that I have here. I want to explain what happened using another entity in my data set. So let's go ahead and explain by our logistics partners, which is the company name. All right. So I have company name here, which consists of all our partners. So I would hold and drag it and drop it in explain by. Hold, drag, drop it in explain by. Now, once you drop it in explain by, if you're not very observant, you will not notice any change. But if you are very observant, or let me ask you, did you notice any change in the data? Did you notice any change in the data? I mean, in the visual rather. Fantastic. So you see that there is a little, oh, you did not notice. Look, and if you notice, just type what changed quickly. What changed? Fantastic. A little plus appeared. It wasn't there before. All right, I'll take this out now. You see it goes away. The plus goes away. So I'll drag company name again into explain by. I'll drag company name into explain by, and you see the plus sign appears. And click on the plus sign. So I'll go ahead and click on the plus sign. Now, when you click on the plus sign, you see company name that what you just added to explain by. You see company name. All right, you see company name. So click on company name. So again, you click on the plus sign, and then you see company name. Click on company name. And what happens is this bar is dissected, by the company names, different company names. All right, you see, Galcos, out of this 13,000, Galcos returned 5,000, over 5,000. Ship Expert returned 3,000. And this simply tells you where your returns are coming from the most. So can we spot the logistics partner that is involved mostly in our returns? Can we spot that? Can we see that? Can we also see the one that least contributes? Can we see that? Fantastic. So Galcos is the one that returns, the most. So, but we can still continue. Let's not stop here. Now, let's explain each of these companies by drivers. So each of these drivers are assigned to, different organizations to drive, different partners to drive their vehicles. So let's see whether there is a consistency in the returns per driver. Now, I'll drag driver name, and drop it under company name, inside the explain by box. Now, watch. I'll go to driver name, hold and drag, and you can see when I have a green line below company name, I drop it, right? Now, once I drop it, you see all the bars here now have a plus sign. All the bars here now have a plus sign. So I can simply click on the plus sign here, right? Click on the plus sign, and click on driver name. Click on driver name. Now, once I click on driver name, it explains Galcos again that, Casey Dre, out of this 5,400, Casey Dre returned close to 4,000. So he returned quite a number, compared to all others, right? Compared to all other drivers. So let's click on Ship Expert. I'll just click on the bar now this time to explain it by Ship Expert. So, and I want you to see what happens. All right. So remember, Casey Dre by far returned the highest compared to others. So let's click on Ship Expert. When I click on Ship Expert, now it's being explained by Ship Expert. Can we see Casey Dre still is the one that returns the highest? Can we see that? Can we see the lines coming from the Ship Expert? Can we see that? Can we see? So we can check others to see if there's consistency. Okay, so Casey Dre is the highest in Galcos. Casey Dre is still the highest in Ship Expert. So let's click on Rex Express. Rex Express, you can see Casey Dre by far again, is the driver that has the most return. So what would you recommend? What would you recommend the organization does to this? Please let's stay muted. All right, so that we don't disrupt the session. So what would you advise the organization? So start making your recommendation now, because I would ask you, What's your advice? Call him in for an appraisal. I don't know what an appraisal is, what you mean by an appraisal, but I'll clap for you. All right. So appraisal is, you know, when you want to discuss, and usually you want to give reward for something, for to an employee for something that they need to do. All right. So we call him in for an appraisal, or we call him in for an interrogation. Some people say we should arrest him, right? Again, what are others? I meant query. All right, query. Okay. So we need to ask this person a question. Okay, we need to ask them a question. All right. And you can go on and explain again. Oh, you want to see for example, you want to see the product that was returned, all right, by each driver, the amount. So I'll just drag product's name and drop it under driver name in explain by, and it adds a plus sign here, and I can explain. Let's see what products KCJ returned the most. And you can move it. The beauty is you can move it side to side, hold and drag inside the visual, right? So malt, chips, milk, and so on and so forth. You can see Blake Jr. You can take a look at what products, they also return the most by just clicking on the bar, and it explains by that. All right. So having done this, let's do one or two more charts, just one or two more, then so that we can go on to some of the other things we have today. All right. One or two more charts quickly. So after you've done this, yeah, click on this empty space again. Click on the empty space you have here. All right. Click on the empty space you have here, and let's add a donut chart. Okay. Donut chart and pie charts can tell the exact same story, right? Donut charts and pie charts can tell the exact same story, but donut charts look more visually appealing. So add in a donut chart. Let's add a donut chart. Let's make it big like this, right? Add a donut chart. So let's put a donut chart here. So it's a simple report. We can add more charts and answer more questions, right? So, but let's do a pie chart, donut chart rather, and maybe when you get to practice, you have the data sets. You can now create even more charts, right? Now we have a donut chart here. Okay. Now I've clicked on the donut chart. Let's add in something. Now you can see in here in my visualizations pane, I have legend. Legend means what are different categories you want me to break the slices of the donuts into. What are the different segments you want me to break the slices into? And what I want to see is, I want to see the return complaints, all right? So check the box for return complaints, or drag and drop return complaints to legend, right? Drag and drop return complaints to legend. So we have accident, dented, missing in transit, stone seal, wrong item. So those are the return complaints. So drag and drop it in legend. And then I want to drag quantity and drop it in values. Drag quantity, drop it in values. And that would give me a donut chart. All right, that would give me a donut chart explaining everything. All right. But I have to, yeah, this makes sense, but I have to look at the colors. I have to be very good at my colors to be able to read this. So let's make it simpler. We want to make, again, as a data analyst, one of the things you want to consider when you're building a chart is you are building this chart for people to consume, not yourself. So you have to ensure that what you're building is easily understood. So consider your audience when you're building your charts. So let's make it in such a way that these different categories appear as the name of appear here, all right, so that we can easily match each return complaint to their slice. All right. To do that is very simple. I click on the chart itself, and under my visualizations pane, you see I have a format button here, format your visual. If you can see where my mouse is. Again, the session is recorded, so you can replicate this later on when you get the recording. Ensure you fill in the attendance form. So I'll click on this format visual, right? Click on this icon, all right? And then you'd see detail label. Your detail label, are all this information that you have here. Fantastic. Expand detail label. Expand detail label. expand detail label. Now, once you expand detail label, right, you'd see, the position of the label. It's currently outside by default. I'll leave it at that. What I want to is label content. I want to edit the label content. All right. Now it's showing data value and percentage. So I'll click on that. I'll click on the drop down and I can select what I want to show here. All right. Now it's currently on data value. What I want is I want category and percentage. So it shows the name, shows these names and accompanies it with a percentage. So I'll click on category percentage of total. And you'd see that I now have missing in transit, turns here, wrong item, and dented. All right. I have dented. Can we see that? Can we all see that? So, and I have their corresponding, I have their corresponding percentages. Are we together, guys? Are we together? Fantastic. Very good question, Grace. What about the accident? So this blue part is for the accident, right? But it's not showing. Okay, it's not showing. So I'll rotate this so that it shows. But before I rotate it, let's do something together. All right. So I come back here and collapse the detail label. Okay. And can you see where I have legend? These are my legends. So legends here, I turn it off. Right? It's on. I turn it off, and that gives my charts more space. That gives my chart more space. All right. It gives my chart more space. Now, all I need to do is to rotate the chart so that until accident shows, right? Until accident shows. So I expand rotation here, and then I start to increase. Can we all see what happened? Did we notice what happened? Let me do that again. I increase it. I clicked on the increase button, and accident finally popped out. Okay, 1.85%. 1.85%. All right, 1.85%. All right. And once you've done that, the rest is easy. Okay, the rest is easy. All we need to do is let's select, let's select, let's format this so that we can see, our chart elements bolder. All right, so I'll click on this chart, still clicking on the category charts. All right, I'll click on the format button again. Okay, click on the format button again. All right, and you want to expand detail label. Okay, expand detail label again. Now, what I want you to click on or expand is values. Under detail label, you have values. So expand values, and you can increase the size. You can increase the size so that it is much more visible, right? So that it is much more visible. Okay, so that it is much more visible. Okay, so now after you've done that, all you need to do is let's add a bit of effects, all right, to these chart elements. Let's add a bit of effect to these chart elements, and then we'll apply our final effects. So click on this first card visual. Click on the first card visual. Click on the first card visual, right? Click on the first card visual and click on format. Okay, in your visualization pane, click on format your visual. Click on format your visual, right? Click on format your visual. Once you click on format your visual, click on general. Now the options you have here is if you want to format the way the number looks. I'll leave that to you to explore, right? But I want to give the chart itself an effect, which is why I'm going. So click on general. Once you click on general, okay, you have effects. You'd see effects, expand effects, and scroll down. Expand effects and scroll down. Expand effects and scroll down. And all you need to do is to turn on shadow. Turn on shadow. And when you turn on shadow, it gives the chart a shadow. All right, so I'll just adjust this here. Okay, So it gives the chart a shadow. Can we all see that? Can we all see that? Gives the chart a shadow. Now, all I need to do is I'll click on this chart back. Okay, I'll click on this chart back. And can we see Format Painter? Format Painter. What the Format Painter does is you can see it's like a paintbrush. If you click on something and click on the Format Painter, right, you can now use the paintbrush to click on something else. And the effect you have put here would now appear here. Now watch this. I click on this first card, click on Format Painter, and then I come back to, can we see the brush now? Can we see the brush? Can we see the paintbrush, guys? Just type yes in the chat if you can. Can see that my mouse has turned into a paintbrush, right? So I click on this, and then it applies the same effects. It applies the same effects. Again, I click on the Format Painter and click on the next one. Click on Format Painter and click on the next one. So you can see how easy it is to navigate, right? Very easy to navigate. Now, you can still click on the Format Painter and click on this chart. Click on the Format Painter and click on this chart. And, it gives the charts, I'll just resize this so that you can see the effects very well. I'll resize this a bit so that you can see the effects. Fantastic. All right. So all I need to do next is very simple. Okay. I would select an effect that helps me format all my visual. Okay. So I'll click on view. Can we see where we have home, insert modeling view? Home, insert modeling view. So click on view. Once you click on view, you can see sort of like if you've ever worked with Microsoft Word, all right, like your themes. Okay, that's what you have here also. So I'll just expand by clicking on this drop down. So that gives me more options. So you can select this one, and it colors your chart for you. You can select anyone, but the one I want to select for today's masterclass is solar, right? And who can tell me why I've selected this particular one? Can someone tell me why I selected this particular one? Tell me why you think I selected this color. Tell me. The hint is in my video. Tell me why. Fantastic. Tenalytics logo. All right. So it's also important that when you're trying to build a dashboard for your organization, you keep the brand in mind so that they have a sense of ownership. All right. So just one more thing, and then I'll bring in Chukwuemeka. I'll usher into Chukwuemeka. But while Chukwuemeka is going to come on, right, I would want you to begin to type in your recommendation based on what you can see. Because what you can see here is missing in transit and dented, comprises the most reasons. That's the most reason why this goods are being returned. All right. So I want you to make a recommendation. I know you're giving one. Okay, driver. Is there any what do you call them now? The partners that we also need to take out. All right. Or what do we need to do? So your recommendations are what will drive the insight. So but I'll put one more thing in here. One more thing to make our charts dynamic. Can we see this? Can we see this visual called slicer where my mouse is in my visualization pane? Slicer. So I'll click on slicer. Fantastic. Click on slicer. Okay. And I'll rearrange it here. I'll just elongate it a bit. Slicer. All right. And what do I want to put in here? I want to select return dates. Check the box for return dates. And what happens is Power BI will create. Can you see what happens? Power BI created a slider. Okay, with such that you can select the start and end date, and you see data based on that. You see data based on the start and end dates. Are we together, guys? Are we together? So I can select from, let's say, 11th of May down to, let's say, 8th, 5th of or 1st of October, and I would see data filtered to that. All right, I'll see data filtered to that. So, and this is one of the reasons you build a dashboard is when you share this with your stakeholders, they can easily, without you being there, right? They can easily navigate their way to see exactly what's happened within this time frame. All right. Another interesting part is that you can also click, for example, Casey Dre now has caught our interest because across many of the across most of the, for example, from Galcos to Ship Experts, Casey Dre consistently retains the highest. Casey Dre consistently retains the highest, the highest returns. Now, it means that we can click on Casey Dre, for example. I'll click on Casey Dre, all right, and all my, visual, filters down to Casey Dre. All right, so Casey Dre, driving for Ship Experts. This is for Ship Experts, as you can see. Casey Dre driving for Ship Experts, returned 1,607 goods, worth 21.94K. All right, and 58. It happened 58 times. All right, so you can click for Galcos, okay, Casey Dre, and you'd see data filtered to that. So to unfilter, you just simply click on, what you initially clicked, and the data unfiltered. So that's how to build, a report. So please, while I usher in Chukwuemeka, type in your recommendation. What do you think this organization should do? What do you think this organization should do? Clearly, Casey Dre is a point of call, right? I wish there was more time. I would have created more charts. Okay, so please begin to type in your recommendation. Okay, but keep in mind that what we've just done, okay, is to take the first step using our skills as a data analyst to solving the revenue problem that the organization is having. All right, we can attack if you can give the right recommendation, and we can act upon that. The organization can return maybe back to status quo a couple of years back. Okay, so when you get this recording and the slides, I want you to even explore more charts and see what you can come up with. I would love to hear from you. All right, so this is what a data analyst does. It makes sense of data. So we were able to move from this. We're able to move from these guys. Do we all remember this? We moved from this. All right, we moved from this. Somebody said most of them are missing and I think dented at the beginning of the session. So, but what would really tell us whether that's true is the dashboard we built and the reports we've been able to put together. All right, so I can see a recommendation. Fantastic. All right, fantastic one. So did we enjoy this part? Did we enjoy this part? And do you want to become a data analyst? So that Chukwuemeka can tell us exactly how you can do that. Okay. So I'll bring in Chukwuemeka now, right? And Chukwuemeka will tell us exactly how you can become a data analyst. All right. So Chukwuemeka, yeah, over to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mohammed, I can hear you. Fantastic one. Fantastic session. I don't know if anyone learned anything from this session. If you learned something, okay, I can see the recommendations already. I will stay here, guys. If you learned something, just drop a 1 in the chat box so that I know that you learned something very critical for yourself. If you learned something from the session, please drop a 1 in the chat box so that I will know that you learned something from today's session. Are we all here? Okay, I can see a couple of 1 in the session, in the chat box. Fantastic, fantastic. That's amazing. Can see a couple of 1 in the session. Now, let's move ahead. Why do you really want to be a data analyst? Can someone just on the chat box also tell me why they're choosing a career in data analytics? Why have you chosen a career to be in a data analyst? I can't see it. I can't see your comments. I can't see your comments. Why do you want to be a data analyst? Is it to build amazing visuals that you want to do? Why exactly do you want a career in the tech industry, a career in data analytics? Why do you want to be a data analyst? Is the new oil well, Shade? Fantastic one. It's a field that cuts through all sectors. Amazing, amazing. So I want to hear the reason why you want to be a data analyst. I want the money, Mohammed, because data is the new oil. Fantastic, fantastic. I'd like to track problems like this and proper recommendations to move the company forward by using beautiful visuals and being paid good money. Fantastic one. Now, we've all made amazing comments of the reason why we want a career in the tech industry, the reason why we want to be a data analyst. It cuts across. Some people say it's because data is the new oil. Some people say they want to be able to bring out insights. All these, they are all correct. Most times people choose to enter into the tech ecosystem, maybe by virtue of they felt in the tech industry, you get to have a great work-life balance. Or like we've all said, data is the new oil. So we have fantastic and amazing salary and benefits, or even because of the growing opportunities, right? But one key area I want to touch today is because of the key growing opportunities that exist in the data analytics space, right? Because of the growing trend of companies every single day, whether you are in the financial space, whether you are in oil and gas, whether you're in education, whether you're in the banking industry, one key thing that all these companies have in common is data. And so the companies gather a lot of data on a daily basis, but they do not make sense of it, which means there will always be the demand, the growth for data analysts in all these companies. Now, I don't know whether you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, guys? From the report from World Economic Forum 2024, you can clearly see by the left-hand side the jobs that are going to grow within the short space of time. Within this 2023, 2024 upwards, the jobs on the left-hand side are jobs that are in demand, jobs that are never going to go out of vogue, jobs that are currently uprising, jobs that on a daily basis, companies are moving around looking for ways they can get people into this industry. Can we see what we have in number 6 in these companies, in these jobs? Number 6, we have data analysts and scientists. Now, data analysts and scientists are in demand in all areas of the economy as of today. There is high demand of data analysts in all companies everywhere. There is this common slang that we hear these days that all companies use data, right? And it's true. There is no company in the world that is not making use of data, because it's from data that they can be able to make sense of the information that is going on in the company. That's from the data they can be able to bring out insights of all the things that is happening. So if you look at the left-hand side, you clearly see data analysts and scientists. And this is one key reason why we want everyone on this call to be able to become a data analyst, to be able to bring out insights from what the company is currently going on and be able to make informed decisions. Another key reason why you need to consider a career in data analyst is because if you want to be amongst the people that the stakeholders, the management, everyone listens to, you need to be in the data ecosystem. You need to be a data analyst because you are the one that gives them information. You are the one that gives the company insights on what they want to hear. You are the one that is going to bring out the nitty-gritty of what is inside the data that is always messed up in the company. Like Mohammed has already shown us, from the initial data sets that we all had, we saw a whole up to 600 rows of data. If you give that to a manager, if you give that to the CEO of your company, he may not be able to make sense of it. But if you, as a data analyst, you sit down and you are able to analyze the data, and you can comfortably see that, okay, this data, that it makes sense. You're able to see where the problem is coming from. You're able to see that it's because of Casey Dre, that the driver maybe had a couple of issues with everything he's delivering. He had a couple of issues with the car. He had a couple of issues with dented items. You can clearly see that Casey Dre have an issue that needs to be addressed. Now, you as a data analyst, from the analysis you've done, you've been able to come up with this information for the company to see, oh, we need to look into Casey Dre. If this data is scattered and it's all over the place in the company, they might not be able to see, okay, Casey Dre is a problem. But you've looked through, you've analyzed the entire 1,000 rows of the data, and you are able to come up with insightful information for the company. And this is what's going to make you valuable to any company you find yourself today. So believe you me, if you are still stalling and you are still considering, do I need to be a data analyst? Do I need to do this? Do I need to know that? Today will serve as a remembrance day for you to know that you've been remembered, and we've told you today that you need to be a data analyst because you want to be able to bring out insights. You want to be able to be among the key decision makers in the company. Maybe the ultimate decision may not rely on you. Your own might just be to just bring out the insights in the data, generate the information that the data has, and push it to the management to make decision. By virtue of you engaging in that act, you've already placed a hand in the decision making of the company. So if today you are thinking you want to be a data analyst, you want to be among the key decision makers in your industry, today is the day you clearly stamp the yes and say, yes, I'm entering the data industry. Clearly, like from what we had today, you've had your hands dirty in the supply chain industry. And this is what our classroom is all about. In our classroom, you are going to work with real life case studies of what is going on in the world. Today, you work with the data from the supply chain. Tomorrow, you work with the data from the hospitality business. Next, tomorrow, you work with the information from the banking industry. You get your hands on all the sectors of the economy. And these are things that you can comfortably put in your portfolio and say that, yes, I've worked in the supply chain. Yes, I've worked in the banking industry. Yes, I've worked in the hospitality business, because you've had your hand dirty in that system, right? There's no other thing that a data analyst in the supply industry does. Basically, is to look through the data and make sense of the data and be able to say clearly, okay, our business is going downwards because we are having dented goods, or because we're having missing item in transit, or because we are having torn seal. This is the reason why our business is going bad. And most of these issues are coming from Casey Dre, which means we need to look into Casey Dre and be able to make informed decision. You're already a data analyst in the supply chain. So by virtue of you being in this master class, believe you me, you're already a data analyst in supply chain. So comfortably go home and prepare this dashboard and put in your portfolio and be able to brag and say you've worked in the supply chain. And these are a ton of orders are what we are going to push into you. These are things we are going to instill into you and make sure that you become a full data analyst and be able to brag anywhere. By virtue of you being part of the analytics, you comfortably cut across all the economy, you cut across supply chain, across the banking industry, across the hospitality business, across construction, across oil and gas, because these data sets are real life case studies that we get from them, right? The only thing that we do most times is that we try to codify the names. We try to, because of data privacy issues, to make sure that we're not leaking information to the general public. So once this data is in our own possession, we codify them and we use it to teach our participants. So have you decided that you want to become a data analyst? How do you become a data analyst? What do you need to do for you to say, I am a data analyst? Can anyone tell me what they need to do for them to say, I am a data analyst? Is anyone hearing me? Can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, just type a 2 in the chat box. I believe in the number 2. I believe in the number 2. I don't know whether you are single. Maybe that's why Mohammed is using 1. But for me, I believe in the number 2. So if you can hear me, please just type a 2 in the chat box so that I know that you're still following me. Oh, I can see a couple of 2s. Yeah, nice. That's fantastic. I love seeing 2s. Nice, amazing. Dave, Zoom, Olushola, fantastic. Now let's move ahead. How do I become a data analyst? That's the question. And the first question we always ask ourselves, Mohammed has clearly defined and clearly use analysis to show who a data analyst is. But I'm just going to brush through it quickly so that we can understand some of the things that a data analyst answers in the industry. Number one thing that a data analyst makes sure that he answers is the descriptive analytics that he does with the data. And this data is going to, the descriptive analytics is going to answer the question of what happened. So as a data analyst, your responsibility is to analyze and interpret data to bring out insights that are going to present to management for key informed decisions. Now, and this data, there are two analyses you are going to be performing. And the first one is the descriptive analytics. And the descriptive answers the question of what happened? What happened? And from there, you move to diagnostics analytics that is going to answer the question of why did it happen? So from our data sets today that we've clearly seen that the supply chain is experiencing a downward turn in business. So from the descriptive analytics, they were able to see there is a downward turn. Now the diagnostics will now tell them, why is this happening? And from there, they can clearly see because we are having returned goods that are back to the system, and because of it, there is a downward trend in revenue. So a lot of insight is going to come off by you answering this question, the descriptive analytics and the diagnostics analytics. And your journey into the data analytics industry starts today. And it all starts by you registering Internalytics program. You say, okay, today I want to register for the data analytics program. Basically, in the UK, the average salary of a data analyst ranges along £41,000. £41,000. I know a lot of us, the main reason why we want to tilt into the data analytics role is because we feel that data is the new oil. That's the major answer that most of us give. We said data is the new oil. Some people said because of the growing opportunities, but believe you me, there is enough money in the data ecosystem. In Canada, the average salary for a data analyst is averagely $64,000. And in the US, we have $72,000. And these are not just numbers that we are quoting. You can easily go to Google and browse what the average salary of a data analyst in the UK. And they're going to see this. And even from the virtue of our past students that have passed through analytics and have received jobs, you can see the trend. Okay, this person is receiving 50, this person is receiving 42, this person is receiving 60, this person is receiving 45. From there, when you take the average, you still be landing along the £40,000 in UK. So it's very, very critical that for you to be able to say, okay, my goal this year is to, I want to earn £40,000 at least by the end of half year, then that means you need to start now to prepare. I know at the beginning of the year, most of us all make income goal decisions. We make the decision, okay, I want to make this, I want to make that. But we need to answer the question of how do I want to make that income? And it all starts with you've identified the industry that you want to be in, which is data analyst. You've seen that the income, the average salary there should be able to answer your question of this is the income I want to make in 2024. Next thing is how. And that's the point where you now say, I need to register with Analytics so that I can pass through their data analytics program and be able to get jobs that will offer me these £40,000 in UK, right? If you look at our key learning areas that you're going to learn as a data analyst, number one thing that you are going to learn is problem solving. Now, most other businesses out there, when you want to learn data analytics role, they'll jump you into Power BI because people actually feel that data analysis is about visuals, but it is not really about visuals. Visuals is very important, but remember, the main reason why you are in any company as a data analyst is to be able to solve problems. Is to be able to solve problems, provide solutions to problems so that the business will grow. So at any point that you feel, okay, I need to just bring out amazing visuals, that's just the reason why I want to be in data analytics. No, the first important thing is problem solving. You need to be able to understand how do I solve this problem? And these are things that we are going to put you through in our Tenalytics data analytics program, right? Problem solving skill is very, very important. Where we are going to pass through the stages of understanding actually there is a good problem, which we call positive problems, and we have negative problems. For example, let's assume you're a coach, a football coach, and you have Messi, you have C. Ronaldo, you have what are all the stars that I can imagine? Haaland, you have Mbappe, all in your team. And what you're thinking at that point is, how do I fit all these people into the football pitch? Is that a negative problem or a positive problem? Can someone answer me in the comment section? Do we think this is a positive problem or a negative problem? Let's assume you are a football data analyst and your role is to find a way to place Mbappe, place Haaland, place Ronaldo, place Messi, all on the pitch in your own football team at once. Do you think is a negative problem or a positive problem that you have? A positive problem, Femi. Fantastic one, Femi. Maybe not everyone might understand because of people may not really like football. Positive problem, fantastic one. Now, these are points where a football data analyst is going to look at the problem they are facing and now bring out the skill, the qualities that each of them possess, and be able to analyze, okay, by virtue of using the past performance, then looking at the problem that is currently at hand, looking at the improvements that are going to engage in, then looking at the improved performance that is going to come out from the analysis, and then monitor and control it entirely. Basically, these are all the stages in problem solving. So when they analyze the skills, they can now easily place, oh, Ronaldo needs to go to 11, Mbappe needs to be in 9, Messi needs to go to 7, and like that, the football will easily flow. So very, very key important thing that we teach in our data analytics program is problem solving skills. And we have several techniques that you're going to learn in class, the CRISP GM, the SWOT analysis, the root cause analysis, the so many types of the 7 key areas that you use in solving problems. And you are going to learn it one after the other before you start saying, okay, I want to do Excel, which is basically for you to now start having hands-on on data. Now start learning how to clean data, how to trim data, how to be able to build a pivot table, and then transition to building a dashboard using Excel. Now, fantastic thing is that most of us here do not know that the exact thing that we did with Power BI today, we can actually do it with Excel as well. Yes, you heard me. You can do it with Excel. Maybe not with 1,000 rows of data. It may be very, very hard, but with minimal data that's provided to you, you can easily use Excel to build a dashboard. And these are things that we are going to put you through in the classroom. Now, the next thing is now to move you to SQL, SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language. Now, you've learned problem-solving skills. You've learned Excel. It's now time for you to load your Excel into a database and be able to do analytics with it. We also tend to walk you through that role that you have to understand what SQL is all about. How do you query a database using your select statement? How do you bring out and create a table in your database? So we prepare you for what you are going to have in the real life. And the truth is that for each of these key learning areas you are seeing here, you are going to have series and tons of real life case studies that you are going to work with, so that at the end of your program, you can comfortably collect all the projects you've worked on and be able to build a portfolio as a full data analyst. These are things that will make sure that using GitHub, you can easily collect everything and your portfolio will be standard, that everyone that asks you, hey, Chukwemeka, you said you've been a data analyst for 1 year, how can you prove it? Because in the data ecosystem, it is competence over certificate, right? What we see people do these days is that people just jump and possibly get certifications from IBM, from Google, from series of institutions that give certifications, right? But they lack the key skill, which is what is necessary. The data ecosystem is structured in a way that you need to have the skill, you need to have the competence before having all the certifications. Now, from SQL, we move you to Power BI. I don't think I need to say much about Power BI because we've already had a real life experience, a real life case study of how we can use Power BI to bring out insights, build visuals, and be able to make recommendations to the stakeholders. Now, everything we also did with Power BI can also be replicated with Tableau. Because in the tech ecosystem, you might join companies like Google. Google will tell you, okay, we are making use of only for example, if you're in Microsoft, definitely are going to use Power BI. But if you're in other companies that maybe their own core visualization tool is Tableau, they're going to tilt towards the company's own tool. That is why we make sure that we teach you both of them. You are going to learn how to use Power BI. You are going to learn how to do the same thing with Tableau, so that in any real life situation that you find yourself, you can easily make use of any of these tools to perform your analysis. Now, another important area that most times data analysts lack is data storytelling. You need to be able to use compelling narratives to bring your data to life. You need to be able to tell stories that will connect from point A to point B that will show this is the reason why this is happening. For example, we just used the Mohammed's data today, and we are clearly seeing, okay, from a storytelling perspective, you can comfortably say, oh, the company was experiencing downturn in the business, and by virtue of that, we had to run this analysis, and we found that we're having a tons of returned goods. And diving deeper into the returned goods, we found that it is Mr. A that had 80% of the returned goods, and it's by virtue of dented items, it's by virtue of missing items, it's by virtue of this. Now, you've told a compelling story using your data of what happened. If you just bring your Excel and throw it at your CEO and say, sir, this is the report, it's not going to understand what's there. But if you are able to tell a compelling story using your data, you've already achieved the expert level of a data analyst. Now, another key area that we try to introduce, that we've introduced, is ChatGPT for analytics. All of us here we agree with me that AI is the main area where we all need to be today. AI is the place where we all need today. I know some people ask questions and say, okay, is ChatGPT, is AI there to take our jobs? No, AI is not there to take your job. AI is there to help you and optimize your skill that you already have. Another key learning area that you're going to learn is Microsoft Fabric for analytics. Now, Microsoft Fabric was introduced last year and basically is an all-in-one solution that covers everything about data, from data movement to data science to your analytics, time value analytics instantly. And we've introduced this into our data analytics program to make sure that you have all the skills necessary, all the skills you need to survive out there. Remember what I said. All these are our key learning areas. They are all structured in a way that we have real life case study to answer each of those learning areas. Tons and tons of case study to back up your learning plan. So if you are doing problem solving, you're already having issues in the company, in external companies that you're working on without even knowing. If you're working on Excel, we are feeding you with data from external companies, and you are packing all these projects into your portfolio. Now, our data analyst program runs for a period of 4 months with an intensive and a massive learning period of 3 months, which means for a period of 3 months, you are going to be in the classroom. And then after, when you are done with the 3 months, you will have a capstone project that once you submit and finish your capstone project, you move on to the internship stage, where you are also loaded with enough data, enough case study from outside there for you to be able to perform exceedingly. Now, there is always the question is, okay, when I finish as a data analyst, what am I going to do? What's my next line of action? What do I need to do? And this is where I want you to understand. Once you are done as a data analyst, you can comfortably work in any area of the economy. That is the truth. Because all industry, they all work with data, which means there will always be demand for data. I know sometimes you might feel, okay, let me use an example. Why will an advertising company need a data analyst. But an advertising company may have need to analyze their marketing trends. Maybe they're doing OOH campaign for a company, that's out of home campaign for a company, and they need to analyze, okay, we've loaded this OOH campaign in the streets of Birmingham, we've loaded it in the streets of Hull. How are these adverts performing? Or using Lagos as an example, you've done OOH on the island, you've done on the mainland. How are the conversion rates coming in? You need to analyze it and be able to say, okay, by virtue of placing this ad on this exact street in Birmingham, we're able to bring in 2,000 customers into the company, which means we need to move more of our adverts to the Birmingham street to be able to get more inflow into the company. And this is what the product analysts also do. Like in a company that have series of products that they're selling, for example, in the banking industry, where you sell things like savings accounts, you sell things like current accounts, you sell things like kiddies accounts. They also analyze these products to see their performance and be able to give insights to the company management and be able to say, this product is what's giving us 80% of our revenue, which means we need to push more of our OPEX, that's our operating expenses, into that exact product so that we can increase our revenue by 20% or by 50%. So depending on all these things, you need to be able to make sure that you learn how to analyze data. You can also, like we've mentioned, supply chain analysts. That is what we worked on today fully. So we've already seen what a supply chain analyst job is going to be like. You are fully going to be able to work on data sets from the supply chain industry and profile solutions to everyone, that the management, the key stakeholders, and be able to give them insightful responses to all the questions they are asking. Now, we also have business intelligence analysts, right? That looks at the entire business wholly and be able to look at data coming in from several angles of the business and make sense of it and provide this data to the company and say, because of this, because of that, we are able to generate more income for the company. Remember what I said initially. For every data you are analyzing, there is a problem you are trying to solve. Even if there is no problem you are trying to solve, there is a process you are trying to improve, which means there will always be a recommendation from your analysis. And that is where your insights are very, very important. It doesn't end from just building an amazing dashboard. It doesn't end from just making everything, analyzing your data. It boils down to being able to bring out amazing insight and recommendations for your stakeholders. Like I've already mentioned, our program runs for 4 months. 4 months of learning, where you have 3 months project-based live classes. Then you have a capstone project that you're going to work on, and then you have 1 month virtual internship. Our classes are structured in such a way that you have a facilitator like Mohammed in class that you are going to have a one-on-one with, you are going to be conversing with. The exact way he puts you through today is the way he's going to put you through in classes. The difference is just that today we're not able to take questions, we're not able to draw back, because if we stay on the call today, it's going to run till midnight, till tomorrow morning, right? But if you are in the classes, at any point that you are not following, you can always call back your facilitator and say, hi, Mohammed, please, how did you why did you use decomposition charts instead of using bar charts? You can always ask a question. You can always draw back your facilitator and be able to understand. And we also have, the classes are also recorded each day that we have classes, that even at the end of the day, you can always go back to the classroom and watch the recording of what happened that day and be able to understand clearly each step that was taken in the class. Now, we do this because sometimes you might have engagements that will make you not to be in class. So we always have a fallback to go to. If peradventure, maybe you had a shift and you had to be at work that exact time that you're supposed to be in class, you can easily, once you are back, you can easily log on to the Google Classroom and watch the recording of that class. I don't know whether we are still following or whether I'm talking to myself. Here is too quiet. Are we still in this session? Here is too quiet. Yes, Dave said yes, that he's still here. Is it only Dave that is here? It's only Dave and Femi Gold. I did with you, Fugra and Rume. Nice one. All right, fantastic. I can see you, everyone. I can see everyone. Now, our programs runs on Saturdays, basically for data analysts on Saturdays by 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For people in EU, in UK, and Europe. You have the time of 2 p.m. so that you can easily be able to join the classes. 2 p.m. West African time. 2 p.m. West African time. Then we also have evening classes that runs on Saturdays as well from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time, which will be around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Alberta Mountain time, right? So we've structured the classes in a way that no matter where you are in the world, you can fit into these exact timelines. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time for people in UK and Europe, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time for people in Alberta, Canada, USA, Alberta Mountain time. Basically, for you to be able to have a conducive time for your own side of the Greenwich Meridian, right? On Sundays, you are also going to have what we call a self-paced watch me do it videos. So these are tiny bit videos that we make to explain concepts that you are currently undergoing in the class. So you are going to see these watch me videos on Sundays, and you can easily watch them and be able to understand all those concepts. Now, remember, you have the recordings of the Saturday class there, and on Sundays, you are also getting tiny bite-sized videos to explain more concepts of data analytics that you can practice with. And trust me, you have real lifetime access to these videos. Anytime you feel like you want to go back and watch what you did in problem solving, you can easily go back to your initial classroom and be able to see what happened in problem solving skills. Now, let's come to the angle of why people struggle to land a tech job after they've done all these things. Number one thing is that most time people tend to put the cart before the horse. I don't know if you can see my screen. Can we see my screen, guys? If you put the cart before the horse, like in this picture, there is no way this horse is going to lead you to your destination. I don't know whether you agree with me. If this person on this cart wants to move forward and he put the cart before the horse, there's no how he's going to get to his point B. So, and that is what we do most times. People tend to get credentials first without getting the competence. You just jump, you're hearing the next big thing is MongoDB. You jump and you write, you read everything theoretical, and you're certified as a MongoDB person. And that is it. And next time you're hearing, oh, Power BI is the amazing thing for analytics. You jump, you read. You're now a certified Power BI. But you do not have the skills, the competence. You don't have the portfolio that is going to amazingly speak for you as a full-time data analyst. These are the mistakes that we tend to make. And that is what the analytics we are here to correct. You need to be able to have the skills. You need to be able to have a large portfolio that you've garnered by virtue of working on so many real life case studies, and you've built your portfolio that I can comfortably say, oh, I built this. And one amazing thing is that you can always see that if you go to LinkedIn and you search the analytics, we're going to see amazing dashboard that our students have built in the past. And what we always encourage people to do is that learn in public. Always make sure that you learn in public, because it's still the public that is going to bring you into the tech industry. It's from what you've showcased that is going to make a recruiter to be able to see you. So another issue that people have and make them struggle to land a tech job is because we've trivialized job application. Anytime we see job application on LinkedIn, so far as it's easy apply, we simply click apply. 20 applications in one day, but nothing. So we are easily getting volume, but it is not quality. There is what we also do in the ITs, which is CV review sessions, where we tailor your CV to where we teach you how to tailor your CV to every single application out there by also using the job match that we also teach. It's very, very important to please, if there's nothing, if you've not learned anything here today, please learn this. Don't use one CV to apply for everything, every job application that you see out there. Even if the job application we are seeing today is data analyst, data analyst, data analyst, data analyst, don't use one CV to apply for all of them. Always make sure that you tailor your CV to fit the job description of what they are asking for. And these are where we struggle to land a job in the tech industry. These are places that we struggle to land a job in the tech ecosystem. I don't know whether you are following me. Make sure that you do not use one CV to apply to multiple jobs. Interview is also a way of you selling yourself. I'm going to show us some videos of our past guys that have been able to make it pass through our classes and they have survived in this tech ecosystem. There's a story of one person that I'm always happy to have, and that's Ikmat. Before we finish, just tell me one person that you want to hear their story, and I'm going to play it for you. Ikmat transitioned from a full-time housewife to a data analyst with the NHS and full sponsorship in the UK. So if you are still thinking, is it possible for me to do this? Just know that it is possible for you to do it. You can transition from 4 years of not doing anything into one year of being a data analyst in any part of the world. And that person's story that I always love sharing is Wenger. Wenger landed a role as a business data analyst in Poland. Now, why Wenger's story is also very, very interesting is that after Wenger finished his program with us, he got 4 offers. I know this might sound strange. This might sound as if I'm just throwing numbers. But if you're in our session before now, you would have heard Wenger speak. I think it was in our session yesterday where he spoke extensively that even after his program, he was applying. At the point, he felt, oh, I'm actually going to do this. But after Mohammed and our other facilitators have trained him in data analysis and business analysis and have done what we call interview prep for Wenger, Wenger got 4 offers that he had to now start selecting, okay, which one is the best fit for me? So if you are thinking that you cannot do this, just use this story of Ikmat or Wenger as a case study to propel yourself into the higher echelon of where you want to be. So before the session is over, I'm going to play their videos so that we can be able to understand clearly what they have. Can someone in Nigeria get this job? Of course you can. I don't know. Let me check. There's one person, Rashid. Rashid is in Nigeria, and Rashid is currently working for Child 420 in the US, and he is currently based in Nigeria. So you can actually get all this job from anywhere you are. If you want to move through the route of Upwork, you can. The only most important thing that you need to have is to make sure that you have the competence to deliver on this job. And it all starts by virtue of you joining our next cohort that is starting on 3rd February. Yes, we have the next data analytics cohort starting on 3rd February, and it's going to be very, very immersive and a big session. So please try and make sure that you join the next cohort that is starting on 3rd February. Why should you train with us in analytics? Why do you think you need to train with us here in analytics? Now, in 2023, we successfully trained and helped close to 900 people transition from our classroom into their first job in the tech industry. And this goes across UK, US, Canada, Europe, Asia, and of course, Africa and Nigeria at large. So when we talk about these things, it's not only for people outside Nigeria. We also have tons of people here in Nigeria that have received jobs. Zainab works as a data manager, one of the top fintechs here in Nigeria, and she's comfortably okay being here in Nigeria. So it's about the choice you've made to, okay, do I want to transition into getting the job roles in UK? Do I want to transition into getting in US, Europe, or Canada? You can do this. And for 2023, we were able to transition 850 people plus from the classroom into the tech industry. Now, why you should train with us is that we have up-to-date curriculum on data analytics. Like I mentioned initially, you saw the way our curriculum is structured, that you move from problem solving into Excel. From Excel, you move to Power BI. From Power BI, you move to SQL. From SQL, you move to Tableau, storytelling, and then you move to Microsoft Fabrics, and of course, using AI to optimize your analysis. So these are things that we bring into our curriculum to make sure that you have up-to-date skills. And we also have industry experts across the globe. We have people that work in Amazon, people that work in Google, that come to the classroom to teach you. Now, we've gone to the length of the world to make sure we bring the best for you. We've brought the best to the classrooms to teach you all these skills using their real-life case studies. And these are not people that just learn data analytics and are trying to make ends meet. These are people that have full-time jobs in their work. Bankers, engineers in the bank, analysts in the tech industry, amazing people from the fintech ecosystem coming into the classroom to make sure that they guide you and teach you on what you need to know using hands-on experience of what's happening. Now, our training type is also blended in a way to accommodate everyone. Like I mentioned, we have live classes every Saturday that you get to interact one-on-one with the facilitator. You can easily ask him questions. You can easily call him back and he will explain it again. And these classes are recorded so that if after the day you feel, oh, one-on-one is not okay for me, I want to be able to go back to the classroom and watch the videos, you have access to it because it's recorded. So you can relax on your own and be able to go through it. If you feel like, okay, I want to just watch 10 seconds, pause, and then practice, you have access to the video. You can easily watch 10 seconds, pause the video, and practice. So because of this, you tend to improve on everything that you've learned in the class. Another amazing thing that we also do here is additional employability services, right? We do CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization sessions, and Upwork optimization to make sure that you can also tow the route of freelancing. If you want to be a freelancer and work from anywhere in the world, you can easily also move into that area. And our internship program has been designed to simulate the real world experience. And these are things that you'll get from Analytics. Take me to anywhere, take me to the courts, take me to anywhere. You can't get all these 5 in 1 from any training institute. You cannot. And these are things that we are giving you so that you can become an industry-ready tech professional. Now, let me try and play some videos for us so that we understand how. Are you guys still with me? Are you guys with me, or I've lost you? Hello, everyone. Are we still together? Can you hear me? Yes, we did full ground. Yes, fantastic. I'm always happy when I see people responding because this is how the class is going to be. When you are taught, a few minutes passes, the facilitator is going to ask you whether you are still following, and you will now be able to answer and then ask him questions. Please, if you've not filled your attendance, try and fill it. My colleague Lydia just dropped it so that after the session, you can easily get this recording and the slide and be able to, walk through it yourself. Now, our employability services are divided into 3. And these are what we've done to make sure that we give you the best, right? And number 1 amongst it is CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization, Upwork optimization, how to navigate the job market, job and interview prep sessions, and finally, recommendation and reference letters. So even when you get jobs and maybe your job is asking, okay, we need a reference letter from Analytics to be able to certify you. So far as you pass through our institutes and you were able to complete it, we are fully going to recommend and give you a reference letter. As of today, there is close to 10 or 20 recommendation letter that I'm currently working on for our past students. And number two, level two of these employability services that we provide is weekly mentorship sessions. So every week we bring in amazing experts from the industry to have sessions with you and tell you, okay, this is the current trend in the tech ecosystem, in data ecosystem. This is what you need to do to be able to navigate the new challenges that is coming up. So they handhold you every single step to make sure that you come out as a victorious data analyst. They do not want you to experience the same challenges they had during their own time. So we've done this in a way that you have a soft landing. And even on the job support, right? We have some participants that they got jobs and they needed maybe 1 week of handholding for them to be able to fully grasp what they were doing on the job. We are always there for you. So if you are students and you pass through our sessions and you get a job and you require, oh, analytics, please can you help me and be doing these small things? I understand the full scope of the job. We are there to handhold you. And of course, the last one, which is level 3 and the most important, is that we guarantee you one interview invite after you complete our program. We are guaranteeing you must get interview 1 month after completing training with us. Now, this is not just a word that we're throwing out there. It's from the trend of what is happening, from the trend of we've analyzed the data of all our past students. At least 1 month after our training session, everyone that passed through our curriculum from beginning to end must get one interview invite and land that job. And that is why we've taken it to this level 3 that once you've done all these things with us, our promise to you is that we'll guarantee you an interview invite after having all these things. Now, let's take a look at our internship program, right? We have the internship program that we also run that has real life case studies, which is 1 free month internship, depending on the program that you're in, that you get to work with real life case studies of things that is currently happening in the industry, right? You get to have a massive project that you work on, that you experience the real life opportunities, the real life issues that people that are working on that data set are currently having. So you have this, and then we'll also help you build up your portfolio during this interview invite. And of course, the most important one is this 2024, we've added of everything that I've talked about, we are still also making improvements in it, right? And number one amongst them is what we call the body mentorship. The body mentorship. So we've created a mentorship program where we invite alumni that have passed through the program to come on Thursdays and have a one-on-one with you. So while you are seeing in our program, you get to have you will get to have mentors that have passed through the same street they are passing, that have passed through the same road they are passing, that will handhold you every single step. They are going to be there and tell you, okay, because during your own time, I was doing my thesis when I was doing my studying. How was I able to navigate it? I think it was Wenga, the guy that landed 4 jobs in Poland. When he was doing the program, he was writing his thesis, his master's thesis, right? So what he normally do is that he will place the laptop, his phone, and his headset, and he'll be listening in class. And then after a while, he'll just go and type his 1 chapter of his thesis work. So he was able to combine both of them. And these are things that experiences, the real life issues that they had, they are going to walk you through the issues and be able to profile solutions on how they solved it. And another thing that we've also implemented this 2024 is that we've partnered with recruitment agencies across UK, Canada, and of course Africa. Companies like Robert Half, Hayes Recruitment, and Havinash, that once you are done with your training, you also enter a pool of students that if these guys reach out to us, oh, I need a data analyst, we can easily recommend you to all these partners that we currently have. Now, listen very, very well. This is very, very important. Our next cohort is starting on 3rd February, and we have an amazing offer for everyone that stayed on this call till this time. Because the truth is that once we are done with these sessions, this offer tends to expire because people tend to take them easily. We have discounts for the first 20 people that are going to key in into this program. The first 20 people that will key in into the program, they get amazing discounts. For our data analytics program, the cost is $750, £625, and 900,000 naira. £750, $750, £625, and 900,000 naira. But we've discounted it for the first 20 people that are going to make payments, first 20 people to fill the data analytics program. They are going to have it at $600, £500, and 720,000 naira. Now, this is where it gets very, very interesting. We've also segmented it into first payments and second payments, because some people might say, oh, I do not have $600 initially, but I want to secure my sports. The best thing you can do is to make the first payment of the $450, or make the first payment of £375, or make the first payment of 540,000 naira, and secure that spot for the first 20 people. Because on this call, we had like 50, 70 guys initially. Before the call is over, trust me, people are going to make payments, and don't be the last person, so that when you do, we are not going to get, oh, the first 20 slot is filled, you are going to make the full payments. No, we do not like telling people that, which is why I always encourage everyone to try and make payments first. Try and make payments instantly, so that you do not get to say, oh, I made payments and you are sending back my money because the first 20 is filled. So please try and use the first payment method to lock your spot, pay $450, pay $375 or $540,000, and then lock that spot. And 1 month into the program, you can now make the additional payments of the remaining balance. Now, if you want to make payments, it's very, very easy, right? Lydia, you need to drop this link in the chat box. So it is very, very easy. I want to take us to where we can make the payments from. Can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen, guys? Can you see my screen that is showing the payments options? Please, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, just drop a yes that is showing the payments options. Fantastic, fantastic. This is really good, Trume. Okay, I think my screen is still coming up. Mohammed, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, do you mind sharing your screen for the payment option? Mine is delaying to come up.
All right, just 1 second.
Are we following so far? I'm only seeing Rume's chat in the box. Are we still here? Lydia has dropped the payment option. So we also have the Nigeria option, where you can easily make a transfer to our Fidelity Bank, or you can make a transfer to the UK bank, which is Wise. And please take note of the sort code, so that you do not get the option of invalid sort code. So if you're making transfer to the you're in the UK and you want to make transfer, you can make it to the Wise Bank using our sort code. And then if you're making transfer in Nigeria, you can make transfer to our Fidelity Bank that Lydia has dropped in the chat box. So Mohammed is sharing his screen to walk us through how you can make payments. So we can easily walk everyone through how we can make payments. Fantastic. Please try and make payments. Payments are already dropping. And it's very, very important for you to key in into the first 20 discounts that we currently offer, so that once you're about to make your own payments, you're not going to get the prompts of, oh, first 20 is filled, you have to make the full payment. Try and key in to gain the first 20 discounts that we're currently offering. It is very, very, very important that you do that. I don't know why this is happening like this. All right, while Mohammed is still trying to bring this up, let me continue with what I was saying. Remember, before I continue, only the first 20 are eligible for this discount. Now, over the years, some of our participants have actually worked in amazing places. In Nigeria, we have some of our guys that work in Nine Mobile, we have people that work in CBN, we have people that work in Access Bank, and then we have people that work in Western Union, we have people that work in Microsoft, we have people that work in NHS. NHS has been our highest recruiter, highest employer over the years. So if you're in the UK and you're looking to get sponsorship, which we all know that NHS offers, this is time for you to get the skill that will get you employed from NHS. We also have people from our top the top four accounting companies here, that's PwC, Deloitte, KPMG. They are also our top recruiters here. Yourself available. Now, if you are conversant with the news, you must have seen so many news that on the headline, oh, analytics helps Africans across 4 continents land tech skill. Now, these are things that we've been doing over the years, which in 2023, we were able to have the great feat of transitioning close to 900.
Hello guys, can you hear me? Hello guys, are we together? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so before Chukwemeka joins us, okay, fantastic. All right, so what Chukwemeka was trying to say is very easy. All right, so last year alone, we were able to get 900 participants to get jobs across the UK, US, in Africa, like Chukwemeka mentioned. And we are looking to, double down on that, this year, which is the reason why we have not only added, um, new things to our program, we've also made partnerships with recruitment agencies across the UK, across Canada, and even in the US. All right. And the reason is very simple. So rather than going out there to look for these jobs, we want to bring these jobs closer to you. So you get, um, you get you get an interview 1 month after your program, and we've helped quite a number of participants, achieve this feat, even without these new additions. But we are looking to double down on that this year to ensure that more than 1,000 people get jobs. And as I speak with you, this year alone, even on New Year Day, I had an interview prep with one of our participants, and she got the job. So she resumed recently, very recently. I'm talking of, um, you know, um, days within days. It's a few days back was when she resumed. Right, her name is Mide, and she was in one of our sessions um, this past week, and she was sharing her experience on how she was able to settle in, how the interview prep, was very valuable and vital. So aside the interview prep, like Chukwemeka mentioned initially, we also have, we give recommendation letters, and this has been very impactful in our participants landing these roles. So after you've scaled through the interview sessions, all right, recruiters want to have that. They want to know that person that can vouch for you, all right? That, oh, um, have you worked with Adana, for example, or have you worked with um, have you worked with Aaron? Have you worked with Abigail? Have you worked with Adalbi? So who is she? How do you see and we give very compelling, compelling recommendation letters that land you this job at the end of the day. So sorry, the page is not coming up now. So I'll just go ahead, to some of the other areas. So Chukwemeka has spoken about this. We did this together today. So when you get these materials and the recordings, I would, you know, just be my guest. Go ahead and explore and absolutely come up with. So just a second. All right. So I know Chukwemeka has gone through all this, how you should become a data analyst. And as a data analyst, all right, okay, an error. So as a data analyst, okay, as a data analyst, you would need to, you can apply to quite a number of jobs, all right? You can apply to marketing analyst, you can apply to jobs as a supply chain analyst. I've worked as a supply chain analyst, in the past where I used both Power BI and Tableau, which are the same tools you'll be learning in our program to get these jobs. All right. So I know we've spoken for quite a while, so I'll just take a couple of questions now. All right. So I'll take some questions. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Use the raise hand icon. All right. And then we would take a question. So I'll take 5 questions. 5 questions, and then we'll start to call it a day on that note. All right. So just raise up your hand. I would ask you to unmute, and then I would love to have you. And you can also type it in chat. So if you want to ask a question in the chat, type it in, and let's hear from you. So I have Aaron, Abigail, Adana. Do you have any questions? Adalbi, Amarachi, Blessing. Would love to hear from all of you. All right, Blessing, you have a namesake. I don't know whether you guys have met. So Bridget, Daniel, Dave, anybody who has any questions, I'll be happy to take them. All right. Gideon, iPhone, John. Nofisat, okay. Do you have questions? So we are taking a pause to take questions.
Or we perfectly understood everything that we said. Maybe they all understood. I think John raised his hand.
All right. Okay, so John, I've asked you to unmute. Okay, go ahead and ask a question.
Sorry, I've been looking for the raise hand icon. I don't know if I'm permitted to speak.
Oh, is that John?
This is not John, this is Peter.
I think that's Peter.
Okay, I've asked John to unmute. John is on mute currently, but we can't hear John. So you can go ahead, Peter. So when John sorts his mic.
Okay, good evening, Chukwemeka. Good evening, Mohammed. And good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, Peter.
Yes, mine is not just, it's not a question, it's just maybe a word of encouragement for somebody out there. I bumped into these adverts second week in December, and I was opportune to be in a session like this, Zoom session, and something just clicked. I know this is what I've been looking for, and so there's a spirit in a man, the candor of the Lord giving him understanding. I just made up my mind that I will give this a shot, even though the money was a bit high for me there. But thank God for the instrumental payment. So, not to cut it short, I joined this cohort in December. I mean, January. We are just the present one. We started in 6th January. And I must confess, it's been something else. Yeah, back to back every weekend. I'm currently in business analysis. And within this period, my Twitter account that has been inactive has been active now. Before now, you don't know what to post about that, but you have insight on where you are going. And that this confidence building, now I can apply for any job anywhere, and I've already started. So this is a word of encouragement to somebody there who is still trying to make up his mind and all that. I'm just a neutral person. Analytics did not send me on this. But I just want to, encourage somebody out there who is still trying is should I or should I not? Please dive in and you won't regret. That's my 2 cents take on this evening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Peter. Fantastic one. Fantastic. Well, we didn't even know we had our current students also join us on the call. And it's really, really amazing to hear you have a worthy advice for people that are still contemplating. And we are glad that you're already getting value for the money you paid. Joining a class in January means you've had possibly just 2 weekends. Yeah, just 2 weekends, and you're already active. You're already
2 Thursdays too. In between.
Exactly, 2 weekends and 2 Thursdays. Yeah. So Peter has been groomed enough. Within 2 weekends, 2 Thursdays, he has his confidence that he can now comfortably apply to jobs. And this is what we keep preaching, right? This is what we keep telling everyone. Even as outside the courses we are going to teach you, we are also going to instill that mentorship sessions that you get to build your morale up. You get to understand how to navigate the job market. You get to understand what and what do I really need to do to stand out. So with the skills that you also get from the course, you also get the mentorship sessions that we hone your skills to the maximum. So thank you so much, Peter. Thank you. We really appreciate that. If you are here and still considering whether you are going to join or not, I hope you join Peter to make the nice decision. Thank you so much, Peter. John, your hand is raised. I've asked you to unmute, John. You have the floor.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. We can hear you, John.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's quite interesting. I've been following you guys for a while now, and I just wanted to ask about the program timing, right? I understand that you have the Saturday, you have one in the morning and one in the afternoon, right? So I wanted to ask if one has to join both sessions. And now that Peter is talking about the one for Thursday as well, is this a part of the timing that one has to be in all of this for that week, or just one session and you are doing more like a repeat?
All right. Thank you so much for that, John. So your first question is whether you have to be in the morning and evening class, and also about the Thursday classes, right? So I'm going to define it like this. Can you see our screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. So what we do is on Saturdays, we have sessions from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you are going to choose the one that suits you. So why we have these 2 sessions is because, and they're all Nigerian times, because we have students from US, we have students from Canada, we have students from UK. So we've designed the classes to be around the time that is going to be conducive for them. For someone in UK, around 11 a.m. Nigerian time should be possibly 10 a.m., right? And for someone that is in Alberta, Canada, around 6 p.m. here should be around 10 a.m. in Canada. So we've designed it that you have session that will fit you. And once you join any of the sessions, maybe morning session or evening sessions, you cannot switch sessions, so that we will easily be able to have you in one.
Hello, guys. Can we hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mohammed.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So for the Thursday sessions, we do not teach anything during the week, right? What we have is mentorship session, 1 hour, 30 minutes mentorship session where we bring in experts to come and tell you, okay, this is how you can navigate the job market. This is how you can tailor your CV. So during the week, what we tend to have are basically mentorship sessions to hone your skill, to build your morals so that you can easily navigate the job market. But our classes are fully in the weekend, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at night. I don't know whether that answers your question, John.
Sure.
All
Thank
right,
you very much.
Yeah. So are you looking to join any of the program? Are you looking to join soon?
Yeah, we are thinking about the money. We are in January, so
John, I'll tell you a story. There was someone like you that was thinking, okay, do I make this payment? Do I not? And before the person knows what's happening, the first 20 slots is filled, right? So I always encourage people that when you are having these thoughts, the most important thing to do is to make the first payment. It's not compulsory that you make the entire $600 once. We've broken it down into trenches that you can easily make the first payment. Then 1 month into the program, you can now make the second payment. So we've done, because we know the economic situation of everyone, which is why we broke it down easily. So if you are still considering this, John, this is your clue to try and take this first 20 discount option, because by tomorrow, by next month, by next week, you may not see it there again. So John, I hope to see you in the February cohort. You in particular, I'll be looking for your name.
all right, no problems.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
We have another question. We have another hand raised from Omolara Moshuru. Omolara, I've asked you to unmute. I hope I did not murder your name. I'm sorry about that. Hi, Omolara. You can unmute now.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. I think what my question was I was just curious to know a case whereby student finishes the class, most of the recruiters are always interested in looking out for your experience. So how do you guys manage it and have the experience? Like how do you craft the CV in such a way that this person looks like he or she has the experience aside the training? Because experience is always key in getting the right fit. Yeah, that's my question.
All right, thank you for that. Mohammed, do you want to take that?
All right, fantastic question. Confirm you can hear me, Omolara.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, fantastic. So, what background do you have? What background are you from? Are you currently schooling? So, I'm just tell more background.
Okay, education. I'm an engineer, petroleum engineering.
Awesome. So, myself, I did mechanical engineering, in my first degree, and I was able to make the switch. So how was I able to, crack that CV like you said? So what we do is you see your previous experience, all right? We teach you how to, tailor it to suit the career, the career path you're trying to go into. Say, for example, data analytics. Now, what you're going to be learning in class is not just Excel or Excel for analytics. And you have someone like myself, like Chukwemeka in class, showing you how we use these tools to solve problems. And then you learn going ahead. Now, you would learn from our own experience. And then you can hit the ground running wherever you find yourself, when you get a job. Now, how do you get these jobs? You need to tailor your CV, all right? And you need to also optimize your LinkedIn account, all right? So when you're trying to get into a space, say, for example, I want to become a data analyst, and that's my goal. Say, for example, this year, my goal is to become a data analyst. What I need to do is I need my LinkedIn profile to portray me as a data analyst. I need to put things out there to show that, look, I can do this stuff. I know how to use Power BI. I know how to use Excel and so on and so forth. Now, your previous experience in petroleum engineering, you also fine tune it. You fine tune it, you know, to um, to also include data analytics. So what you'd say for example, you've worked in CNNPC, for example, all right? You also put in as part of your functions that, oh, you were able to analyze data, that drove oil and gas, that drove revenue in your organization, all right? So it's going to be part of your experience. So in that way, say a job advert says, oh, we need somebody with at least 3 years of experience. You would have spread data analytics across your CV in such a way that the machine that first goes through your CV, called the ATS, Applicant Tracking System, that first scans your CV to match the requirements they are looking for, would pick it up that, look, this person has so and so number of years of experience. So that skill of tailoring your CV, optimizing your profile, and also targeting specific jobs, how to job match, how to also sell yourself in an interview. Getting a job at the end of the day would hover around all these things combined together. So and that's why we've added it to the program, and you get to learn all these things. So applying to job is a skill on its own. In fact, some people call it a job on its own. So you have to do it very strategically. And thank you for that question. Part of how you do it is you need to learn how to tailor your CV to suit the job role. So gone are the days where you have a single CV and then you use it to apply to jobs. You'd likely not get an interview. If you get an interview, it's pure luck. So you likely not get an interview if you do that. How you get an interview is you tailor your CV and then you apply to jobs. And that when Chukwemeka was talking about churning out quality volume of job application, that's what he's talking about. How do you tailor your CV to suit that role that you're applying to? So, and all these things, like I said, you learn here with us. So how we did it to succeed, sharing that with you as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sure, Mohammed. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. So, Omolara, are you looking to join our next cohort, February 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So, and if you have any other questions, okay, we also hold on Tuesdays what we call our clarity session, where you get to ask more questions. The session is specifically to answer questions when they come up. So we know that you may have other questions, maybe about the program, and we'll clarify that. So, sure, I hope you filled in the form as well. The form that was put in the chat earlier today.
Yes, I am.
All right, fantastic. So we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to see you in class. All right.
Can't
So
wait.
okay, fantastic. So do we have any other questions before we call it a day? Any other questions before we call it a day?
Yes, hello, good evening.
All right, good evening. Sorry, who is speaking? Is that Olaoluwa?
Yes, this is Olaloa.
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay, well done, both of you, Mohammed and Chukwemeka. Thank you very much for all these things. It's very go long way. So we are looking for someone like me is looking forward probably before the end of today or tomorrow just to reach out and to be part of this. But my question now is that we are talking about doing Excel from Excel to Power BI to SQL and furthermore.
Yeah.
At what stage do you think like okay, I can start applying? Because looking around, you can see some job around. Since you are not the one to look for job for someone, you can see some job maybe that you want to apply. You can say, okay, oh, is SQL or thereabouts? My SQL, this is what they need, their requirement. And you know yourself. My first question is, At what stage do you think that a student is okay to be applying for job
Apply to jobs.
as
Fantastic
my
question.
jobs? Then
Fantastic.
what about someone that is very good? You have a class like this, you paid, you attended, but all of us will have area of specification in the sense that you cannot good in Excel, Power BI, and SQL at the same time. Maybe now I now notice that my main point of what I know that okay, during this course, I'm very good in Power BI and Excel. My SQL is a little bit lacking behind. After 3 months, even after joining the internship and I took okay, I'm still lacking behind a little bit in SQL. Do I have to enroll again before I can start applying? At that stage, what do I do? Is there anything from you learn on job when it gets to data analysis? That's the second question. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. So I'll take the first question and maybe Chukwemeka will take the second. Right. So the first question was um you know how do you what at what point do you apply to jobs? And we typically push our students to start applying to jobs immediately you complete your Excel classes. So after your first class is going to be problem solving, right? And then you move into Excel for analytics. Once you complete your Excel classes across 3 weekends, you start to apply. And we've seen some of our participants get jobs even during the program, all right? And that's simply because after 1 month, we start to push you to apply to these jobs, all right? Because at that time you would have had sessions around your employability sessions where tell you how to structure your CV alongside, you learning Excel and all that. Once you're done with Excel, you'd have gone through a series of these sessions, and we urge you to apply at this point. So you start getting used to applying, you understand how it works, and many of our participants have even, landed roles, by doing this. From the top of my head, I can remember Victor Yeshino. Victor Yeshino landed a HR analyst role whilst in our program. All right. The lady Mide I talked about is still joined in November, and they are just in their sequel. They just reached sequel, and she had gotten a job already. And the trick is simple. So many of these recruiters, or I would say 70% of what you do as a data analyst would involve Excel. Excel is a fundamental tool for a data analyst. So it means that once you've completed Excel, you do not need to wait. You start churning out those applications. So that's I hope that answers the first question. Olaoluwa, are you there? Okay, I think he's
Yeah,
muted.
I can still see him on the call.
All right.
Olalu, I've asked you to unmute if you are speaking.
Yes, I'm serious. I'm serious.
All right. So, taking your second question, you asked if you've learned SQL and you are still experiencing challenges, whether we are going to just push you to learn on the job. I'm going to tell you cleanly, if you pass through our program, you are going to learn SQL, because our SQL is structured in a way that it starts from the basic to the expert level. And I know that's at the point where most times people tend to fall off, but trust me, on the job, what you're going to see on the job is going to be less than what you've experienced in the classroom. And why do I say this? If you join our SQL class, we're going to make you to try to bring in data, create a database that you are going to work with. But in the real life case studies, in the real life scenarios, if you join a bank, you're not going to be the one that will create the database that you are going to be working with. They already have the database of their customers. They already have the database of the product they are selling. So basically, what you are going to be doing on a day-to-day basis is to pick data from their database. And these are simple SQL scripts that if you pass through the program, you can easily learn. But during the program, we tend to still make you to be able to learn the aspect of trying to create the database yourself, which ideally is not your ideal function as a data analyst. If you are trying to create the database and now build the architecture, you're not looking at the aspect of being a data engineer and the other likes. But for you to fully function as a data analyst, the day-to-day skill you need in SQL is basically select and pick data, and to be able to provide at any point they need, okay, we want the top 5 products that we've been selling for the month, pick it from the database and the amount. You can easily do select so and so from products, and you pull out your data and give everyone. So once you pass through the SQL process, trust me, it might seem a little bit hard, but you will be able to learn, because our curriculum is structured in a way that it starts from the beginner stage to the higher expert level stage that you're going to see in the real life case studies. I don't know whether that answers your question, Olaoluwa.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, thank you, Olaoluwa. So are you looking to join any of the cohorts?
Yes, by the grace of God.
All right, I hope I'll see you come February 3rd. Have you made payments?
So that was what I said, between today or tomorrow. So I've already saved the account details.
Okay.
So I
All
have
right,
them
that's
also.
fine. I think we'll have a question from the chat box, Abigail. Abigail, you're asking when our next cohort is starting aside February 3rd. So the next one is going to start on March 2nd. Yeah, because we always start a program every beginning Saturday of the month. But that's where the tricky thing comes, right? People that knew analytics as at December made a different payment. People that know analytics as of January are making a different payment. Now, what I'm going to advise you to do, Abigail, is to try and use the first payment option to lock this exact payment structure that is currently on ground. And if you are not able to start by February 3rd, you can always defer your admission by 1 month. So by virtue of you making that first payment, you've locked down that exact price that is going. So when you now join by March 2nd, if that's when you want to start your own cohort, you can now easily make the remaining balance 1 month into the program. I don't know whether that helps, Abigail. Abigail, okay, thank you. So I'm looking forward to see you make payments now, and then you can defer to the March cohort. Thank you so much, Abigail. Do we have more questions? No hand is raised, no question in the chat box. Mohammed, I think this is where.
Right.
Mohammed, are you there?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. So somebody mentioned they just paid, and what's the next thing to do? So once you've paid, all you need to do is to upload your payment receipts. Upload your payment receipts. There is a link in the payments link, all right, that we shared earlier. I'll share that with you. So all you need to do is you click on the link, all right, and you see upload payment receipts. And once you've uploaded that, we'll confirm it on our end, and then we'll set you up for the class. So you'd get a welcome kit, you get a confirmation email, and then you get a welcome kit telling you what to do. All right. So you can always reach us, okay, if you have any questions. But once you've made payments, it means you've secured your spots. You're part of the discounts currently running, and then would see in class February 3rd. And before that, you'd be sent a welcome kit, and all the things you need to do will be communicated to you basically. All right. Okay, so we have Amarachi. Amarachi, let's take you. And then,
Hi, good evening.
yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I know I asked this question before on the chat, and I was told I'm gonna get the recorded section. I don't know if I'm getting it via email or if it's being sent out immediately or if it's gonna take time, because I just want to go through what we did today, because I
right.
got lost at the point.
Okay, no issue. So the recording is done on the cloud. Okay, so after the session ends, the processing starts, and it takes about a few hours, and then once it's made available, you'd receive it via your email. All right.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Thank you.
But Amara, I hope you filled in the attendance form, because that's the emails that we're going to be sending
Yes,
out.
I did. Yes, I did. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so guys, it was fantastic to have you guys on the call, okay? And we'll be looking to see each and every one of us in class come February 3rd. So cheers until next time. Bye for now, guys.
All right, bye guys, and to have a wonderful night's rest.
Attendance list again. Attendance.
You too. Bye.
All right. Okay, that'll be put in the chat now. I don't know, Lydia, could you put that? Okay. Second.
Yeah, I've dropped it.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay. Have you seen it, Olaoluwa? All right.
Yes. Thank you very much. Enjoy your night.
All right. All right. Good night, guys.